Welcome, everybody, to the Boston Field in Nelsonville, Ohio, where the game of the week will take place between the Louisburg College Hurricane and the Hocking Hawks of nearby Nelsonville. I'm joined today by Chuck Hale on the color. I'm Bill the Razor Rayback, and as always, Rick Phillips is on the board. And Chuck, we're here in a kind of an overcast, rainy afternoon, and kind of an interesting game. Just looking at the pregame, we know that we're going to see a lot of speed today.
Yes, that's right, Bill. Louisburg really makes their bread and butter off their speed. They use a wide stable of running backs and receivers, and they like to keep the ball moving. Not going to see a lot of huddling out of them. They'll probably run about every play from the line.
And with the Hocking Hawks, of course, we saw them a few weeks ago when they played the Ashland JV team, and a resounding victory for them. They've a little banged up. They possibly won't have their starting tight end. I believe it's Carter Mangle, the sophomore. But other than that, they'll be pretty healthy. Mikhail Clark is, had a good season. The Hawks are 3-4. They really need to get a couple wins here to close things out strong. Hopefully get a winning season.
Yeah, Hocking started off the year well. I believe they won 3 in a row, but I think they've lost their last 3. So, Again, this is the last game for both these teams, and, Hocking is going to try to finish strong here at home on a positive note. Louisburg, on the other hand, right now the number 17 ranked junior college team in the country, hoping to get into a junior college bowl game.
Yeah, and as you say, they are attempting, since this will be their last game, if they're able to win, they will finish the season at 7-0. They had one cancellation during the season against Guilford. So we'll see what we get out of the Louisburg College team. And they score a lot of points, Chuck. They're averaging nearly 48 points a game on offense. Their defense is pretty stingy. They only give up 48 yards on defense. So they have some strengths on both sides of the ball.
Yes, they do. Like you mentioned, very stout against the run on defense. And Hocking, is going to have to try to keep the ball away from Louisburg. But again, Louisburg's proven all year that they don't need long with the ball to score.
No.
They've had a lot of short drives and used very little clock. Really let their defense on the field a lot. But again, when those other defenses or the other offenses are having to play catch up the whole game, it makes them a little more predictable and really gives their defense a chance to really pin their ears back and come after the other team.
So when we look at the Hawks on offense, it circles around Mikhail Smith. He has 1,325 yards passing and 15 touchdown passes. He's added 128 yards rushing and one run for a TD. In the backfield, look for number 1, David Moore, to be the primary ball carrier. David's got 264 yards on the season with a touchdown. Has chipped in another 88 receiving. And then, on the receiving side of things, as we said, Carter Mangle, who's had 10 catches for 100 yards, is unlikely to play today. But Kevin Greenhow has been the big target, and he's had 20 receptions for 475 yards, averages 23.8 yards per catch, and 6 touchdowns. He'll be matched up on the other side, or he'll be on the far side, will be Preston Smith, the freshman, who's had 10 receptions for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. So looking at the Louisburg defense, now, we have not had a lot of chance to see a lot of stuff on Louisburg, to be fair to them. So we'll be kind of stumbling through some of this because as we become familiar with the players on their team.
Right, and what we can say, we know that up front, looks like they're going to be anchored on the ends by 88 Arkel Vera and 93 Milton Mosley, as well as in the middle by number 1 Tyree Green. They're going to be playing a 3-4 or a 3-3-5 look most of the day. Their linebackers, 32 Robert Brown, number 8 Brian Smith, and number 25 Cole Nigro. On the outsides, looks like number 7 Mantriel Reeves will be at corner. Other corner possibly number 11 Ronnie Monroe. But again, like you mentioned, Bill, we're just speculating on a lot of those starters right now. We'll be able to give you more conclusive information once the game starts.
Now, Louisburg College is located in Louisburg, North Carolina, and so this for them, it's a little bit of a journey. They came up and spent the night in Parkersburg last night, which is not too far from here, and then drove in this morning. So, in junior college, Chuck, there's not a lot of possibilities for games unless you're playing junior college JV teams. And as Hocking would tell you, it's not always easy to get the colleges to send their JV teams here to play. So you have to travel if you want to play another junior college.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that makes it difficult for both these programs is that they're both independent. Neither team is in a junior college conference, which means, again, that especially later in the season like this, you are going to struggle to find a lot of opponents willing to especially come to your place and play.
Right. And as when we've talked to head coach Al Matthews, who's in his third year with the Hawks, he's talked about the desire for them to be able to get into a Midwestern junior college conference, which may be more Mid-East to be geographically correct, which might involve New York and Pennsylvania.
Right, yeah. Hocking is the only junior college program in Ohio, so you're right. They would have to have some travel no matter what league they were able to find a home in.
And I think that what we saw with both teams scheduling is that they're playing prep schools. And if people aren't familiar with prep schools, I guess the best way to equate them is like a 13th grade, where a kid may not academically be where he wants, either test-wise or GPA-wise, and they go for another year of high school to boost their marketability to the colleges.
Right, yeah. Not a whole lot of difference between a prep school and a junior college, other than, again, like you said, a prep school may be a little more in line with a high school type curriculum, and again, building them more towards getting those skills they need to help qualify to play possibly Division I football.
And, of course, if you go to a junior college and you transfer in, you say you play 2 years at the junior college, you have 5 years of eligibility by NCAA standards, and 2 of your years are used up by the junior college. Now, with a prep school, it's entirely different because you defer getting your diploma. You go to the prep school. Then when you graduate, you go to diploma from that school.
Right, and the eligibility clock has not started.
Right. So that's the advantage over a preparatory school, possibly over a junior college. But, again, kids have to look where the best opportunity is. And I think, Chuck, you're a longtime coach, as I. We've always said it would be nice to see a junior college or two pop up in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, it really would. Like you said, it's just more opportunities to get kids a chance to play. And, really a lot of times, too, it's a chance maybe to introduce these kids to college where, maybe they're not quite ready for a four-year institution. And, this is a good stepping stone to help get there. And you're right, Bill, there is a serious lack of that in Ohio.
Yeah, and, I guess I don't want to call them technical schools when they're junior colleges because that's incorrect. But what happens is it creates opportunities for kids to get 2-year degrees. And they may be welders, they might be, in this area, it might be forestry, it might be parks and recreation,
right,
things like that. But it still gives them a chance to increase what they can earn as an adult.
That's exactly right. It's all about preparing them for a career down the road. And, one thing, that's fairly obvious is you don't need a 4-year degree for every occupation.
Right.
And, a lot of occupations can be served very well by a 2-year, like you said, sometimes referred to as a technical skill. But again, also in Ohio, a lot of times we have a tendency to refer to them as community colleges.
Right.
Which, again, is kind of the same thing. I would consider Hocking to be in that category.
Yeah, Hocking would be definitely a community college. And we're getting ready for the coin toss here. We'll find out shortly who's going to get the ball. We have the Hawks dressed in their blue with white numbers and yellow trim, and their blue helmets with their wing emblem on the side. And then, of course, we have the Louisburg team in their white jerseys and their orange tops. So
it sounds like from what you're talking about, I've got a few years of eligibility left.
You could. You could go back in there and give it a shot.
Rick Hocking did have open tryouts this spring.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Well, I missed
probably
those.
will next. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I remember a few years ago, some guy that was 56, Rick, went out and went to a Division III school up in Minnesota, and he was the kicker on the football team.
Interesting,
so,
yeah.
It's never too late.
Well, I don't know if my track experience would help me much with kicking, but maybe I could at least
Bill, I don't know.
run away from people.
I don't know if I'd say it's never too late.
Hey, if you can get with some of the kicking displays we've seen this year, I think if you can get the ball over the post, they might give you some shoulder pads.
Well, that's true. And
helmet.
some of the better kickers that we've seen this year are female, and they've played soccer, so they have some background in kicking the ball around.
Well, I think the thing that's been interesting doing the Game of the Week thing is the general size of the kickers has been, we usually equate it being the 130-pound guy that came from the soccer team. We've seen some big kids that have been kickers this year.
Yeah, that's right. I'd say the most dominant kicker that we've seen this year has been the gentleman out of Miles College, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but
he was a big guy.
He was not a small individual, that's for sure.
No, I mean
and he was accurate.
And,
yes, he was.
And they lined him up for a 57-yarder. So I mean, they believed
had confidence that he was going to kick.
Did.
Yeah, they believed in his abilities. So, Louisburg is going back into the locker room, and I didn't expect him to stay out too long in this rather chilly climate here today.
What are you talking about? It's a balmy
45?
Yeah,
maybe.
For football, it wouldn't be. If you're not wet in this weather, it's not too bad. But if you're damp, it's.
Yeah, and we have had drizzling off and on all morning, and looks like that could continue at least through the first half.
Well, our view through our window onto the field, we've got a nice backdrop. We've got the leaves are starting to change as far as fall, and we are in rural Ohio, southeast Ohio.
Yep.
It's a beautiful day down southeast Ohio for
That's
sure.
right. That's
okay.
Right.
Hocking defers. So Louisburg will receive. Louisburg will be moving from the right to left, and the Hawks, of course, will be moving from the left to right when they have the ball.
Just a side note here: we have the Buckeyes that play in this stadium. This is actually a high school football stadium, and we were talking about this on our way down. They are ranked number 1 in their region. They are 10-0, and so they will be in the playoffs. We wish them luck.
Yep.
And they've had a storied history from apparently their wall of the fame of the years gone past. It won a state championship, I think, in the 80s.
1981, I believe.
Yeah, and so this field, and it's interesting because Chuck and I were talking about the fact that, they're the Buckeyes, they wear a uniform very similar to the Browns,
right.
And they've got the New York Yankees logo as their logo.
It's very confusing, guys.
That's not the Nelsonville York logo?
That's right, the Nelsonville York. Well, the Yankees
that'd
wrote
be a copyright violation.
No,
Yankees,
they actually wrote Nelsonville and asked them if it was all right if they used their logo.
I'm sure that's exactly how that went.
I think that's kind of like the story we were talking about
the other day
with my high school when they got
the Dallas Cowboys
permission from the Cowboys to use the star.
That's right. Yeah, so it happens frequently.
Of course, that was 45 years ago. So
yeah, well, I mean, Dallas was happy that they let him use it.
Yeah.
I think that might also have been before Jerry Jones owned the copyright to the Dallas
yes,
Star, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Tex Schramm was more involved back then.
Right.
So, it should be an interesting game. Of course, it's a beautiful area down here, not too far from Athens. Of course, the home of Ohio University and the Bobcats, and there'll be some good games today, guys. The Buckeyes, of course, have Penn State, and
really,
yeah, that's
got a game going on up in Columbus.
Yeah, about 3:30 start for that. So about just after we get off the air, you can tune in to the Buckeyes.
Right, because you'll definitely want to catch us, and then you may want to listen to the Buckeyes.
Some interesting, there's some interesting games out there. The one that heard some national pundits talking about was, and most people say, why is this an interesting game, is Purdue and Nebraska in the Big Ten. Purdue has Jeff Brom as the new head coach there, and they're talking about, Nebraska is really concerned about the football program since it's been, actually it'll be 20 years this year since they last won a national title.
Yeah, in fact, they just are in the process of getting a new athletic director in Nebraska as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of talk there that the coach there is on a pretty hot seat.
Well, they've been fairly weak, especially since their entry into the Big Ten, and
they have not been the player I think that everybody expected them to be coming into the Big Ten. And then the popular rumor right now is Scott Frost, the former Heisman Trophy winner of the Cornhuskers, who is the head coach of the undefeated Central Florida football team.
Might be coming home, huh?
Is the number one contender for the Nebraska job.
Well, they definitely need to change their recruiting routine there and I don't know whether it's because being out where they are, being able to recruit kids to play in the Big Ten, which is primarily further east.
Right.
If that hurts them, I don't know, but whatever. They're not the team that the Big Ten expected when they. Because they certainly don't have a basketball team, right?
No. Well, they weren't brought in the Big Ten for basketball.
Exactly.
We know that.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I believe, was the
Wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did come out of the Big 8 at the time, or Big 12,
Big 12,
whatever number it is right now. And they did come from a solid wrestling conference, but they were brought in. I mean, let's face it, Penn State and Nebraska are in the Big Ten because of football.
Sure. Oh, without a doubt. And that's the thing. Nebraska was a power for years in the Big 12, competing with the likes of Oklahoma and Texas every year. And
right.
And I think you're right. When you switch to a conference that much further east than the one they were in, there are going to be some recruiting bumps in the road they're going to have to deal with. And that's what I think a lot of the problem is. They've had some growing pains as far as that goes. But, the same thing as far as the Big Ten expanding east. We've seen Ohio State and other teams be able to go into the New York area and other places and get a lot more recruits than they did in the past.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bolster, I think, more their basketball programs than actually football, because most of the teams that came into the Rutgers and they're not really well known
in football.
Yeah. And that's the popular thought, is that we'll go football first and bring in two teams that have national presence. Maryland's won a national title in basketball. Rutgers is often. I'm still not a big fan of the Rutgers move, guys.
I think that actually Rutgers was probably they probably looked more at its football
TV
program and maybe how it was going to develop.
And a lot of eyeballs, in that New York, New Jersey area.
Yeah.
A lot of TVs.
But are they watching? That's the thing. I guess are they going to watch Rutgers football if it's not really competitive in the Big Ten? So.
Well, and you wonder that, and I think Rick made a good point. When Greg Schiano was there, he had that program really into a national power.
Yes, he did.
They were a BCS-type program, and I'm sure that's what they're trying to get back to. With Chris Ash there right now, again, another Big Ten coordinator coming in.
And they are better this year.
Yes.
They're just not, to that point. And, people have to understand, in a conference, whether it be the Big Ten Southeast Conference, you're going to have the top echelon and you have the bottom echelon. And it'll always be that way.
And you can't just flip a switch and next year you're a power.
Exactly.
Those programs take years to develop and to nurture, and it just doesn't happen overnight.
I mean, when you look at the East and the Big Ten with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State just alone, and Michigan State, let's face it, Michigan State, it's been about the last 20 years that they've been considered a national power. Before that, they weren't really viewed as we're playing Michigan State. They're a good team, but they weren't always a team that you feared. But, Michigan State has stepped up into that category. And Indiana had promised at the beginning of the year. But, the whole thing with Kevin Wilson, I think, has hurt him over there with how he was, unceremoniously shown the door. So we'll see what happens. But, speaking of Big 12, you've got Oklahoma State travels to Morgantown today to take on West Virginia. And that could be a trap game for the Cowboys.
It certainly could. Morgantown is not an easy place to go in and get a W, no matter how strong their record is. So you're exactly right. That could be a big trap for the Cowboys awaiting them.
And if I were to tell you that Arizona State and Arizona might be playing for the Pac-12 South title, I think everybody would have just laughed at the beginning of the year. But what we're headed towards is USC plays Arizona State, and Washington State plays Arizona, and Arizona has a dynamic little quarterback out there. It's possible the two Arizona teams are going to play for the South title.
That's a good possibility, and you're right. Both those programs have really seen an upswing here in the past couple of years. That whole Southwest region really has seen a turnaround. You're seeing a lot of interest in that area. Even some of the smaller conferences. You look at Bob Davie at New Mexico,
right?
And you've seen a lot of potential coming out of the Southwest, though.
Yeah. And Utah, I think when they brought Utah into the Pac-12, they didn't think Utah was – they brought them in. It would be a nice addition. I don't think they anticipated Utah being the force that they've been. And so the expansion there, sometimes you bring teams in. Colorado it was better last year, but still not where they were when they were in the Big 12.
Right, but a strong history, too.
Yes.
Colorado's been there, and there's no reason to think that program can't be back where it was years ago.
And with all the California people defecting over to the, to Colorado to get out of the overregulated state there, they bring a lot of talent into that state as they, bring in people to play football there. So we await the kickoff here. We're looking at 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go until the beginning of this game. Looking at Louisburg, we look at their offense, and we can tell you this: they are dynamic offensively, and they play a lot of players. Now, we don't have their offensive line yet. We did not get a too deep depth chart. But, looking at their running back situation, they're led by Nakendrick Clark, who has 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. Nakendrick averages 4.5 yards per carry. Dontavius Harris, number 23, 170 yards on the season, 2 TDs. He averages 6.1 yards per carry. Number 16, DeMarcus Alexander, 246 yards and 4 TDs. And Keshawn Foster, who has 51 yards and 1 TD. A lot of yards, a lot of split-up carries, Chuck, for the running backs.
Yeah, that's right, Bill. Just looking at their team stats, you look, they've got at least 4 running backs with over 100 yards that all average 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And again, they're not doing that on, one big breaker. I think the minimum number of carries for that one of those, the lowest one is 17. So, they've got a lot of guys with a lot of carries, a lot of different people toting the rock.
Right, and when you think about it, they've only played 6 games.
Right.
So, they're coming into this, so that's divided by 6. Some of these guys are getting, 4 or 5 touches a game, which is pretty good.
Right, yeah, like you said, Kendrick Clark is the number 1 threat. He has 86 carries on the season. But again, DeMarcus Alexander, 39, Caleb Lloyd, 42, Dontavius Harris, 28, Christian Ledbetter, 17. So again, they've got multiple backs with multiple numbers of carries for sure.
Right. And I think that, being a 2-year, and this is the interesting thing about doing junior college football, is Trevor Highfield, who's in his 3rd year as the head coach here at Louisburg, and he's also been there 10 years overall.
Right.
Coach Highfield, apparently, what a better way to get yourself ready when you'll have a kid for 2 years is get them out there, get them playing time that freshman year, and then when they become sophomores, they become your starters, and you seed the freshmen in, and you get that nice little rotation. You see it happen in college basketball because the kids are only there for a year.
Kentucky and some of the right.
Yeah, that's right. Everything just has to be an accelerated pace.
Exactly.
You don't have any senior leadership on a junior college team. You're just not going to get that. So you're right. If you've got a kid with 1 solid year of experience, he's going to be your leader for the next season.
Exactly right. And, we look at the quarterback situation. We're going to see number 6, Caleb Lloyd, who is a sophomore. He has 1,016 yards passing, 11 TDs. He's chipped in 205 yards rushing and 3 TDs. So he's a little bit of a do-it-all. It looks like they run a lot of read option, Chuck. So the quarterback is not only just a passer in this offense.
That's right. It looks like Caleb Lloyd has been a weapon, like you said, in a lot of different ways for the Hurricane offense.
Right. And then, just like he does with the other positions, Christian Ledbetter, number 3, has 234 yards rushing, 234 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and then he added in 114 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. He's got a number of snaps, too, as the backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. And just looking at his stats, we don't know this, but, one could speculate that he may also be, carrying the ball at a running back position at times, too, because he has 17 carries as well.
So we would expect to see both of those quarterbacks probably play today. Receivers are no different. They're led by Daniel Graves, who has 27 receptions for 452 yards, 5 TDs. He has 65 yards rushing, which I imagine are on jet sweeps probably, as we see as a pretty common staple of these kind of spread offenses. We've got Elijah Rice, who I'm excited to see Elijah Rice. He's got 15 catches for 200 yards and 5 TDs. Chuck, why don't you talk a little more about Elijah?
Well, again, like you said, looking at just his stats receiving, he has 15 receptions on the year, 200 yards, averaging about 33 yards a game, about 13 every catch, has along a 30 on the year with 5 touchdowns. But again, he has some spectacular kick returns this year, Bill.
Yeah.
He's shown himself to be very explosive. And let's see if I can find it here. Again, it talks about the fact that, just looking at the stats,
He averages...
he's averaging almost 40 yards for kick return.
And that's on 9 returns. So
right.
It's not,
it's not just one return.
Right. And a touchdown.
Has a long of 82 yards, scored a touchdown on that. Punt returns, he's returned 9, averaging almost 20 yards per punt return. Has 2 punt return touchdowns with a long of 90. So, again, without seeing him yet, I'm just willing to bet he is one explosive young man.
I think they want to find ways to get Elijah Rice the ball, and whether it be on kick returns or in the air. So, we're looking forward to seeing him. And, of course, we've got, looking at some of the other Louisburg receivers. You've got Ivory Atkinson, Malakolis Brewer, Jarike Moore, Silas Nazario, and Sam Dixon, and Kevron Scipio. So, it's just a lot of people are going to get in the game. Have patience with us as we try to wade through this. We don't see these guys on a regular basis, so we will try to be up on this the best we can. And
want to remind everybody that Wilmington Haunted Hollow is our sponsor for today's activities. And, of course, we are broadcasting live on campusnation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports, and also WZAA 106.9 LPFM on your radio dial.
And, of course, last night was a football night as we saw Clinton Massey beat the Hurricane of Wilmington.
Quite handily, 48-0.
Yeah, the limping, though, in fairness to Wilmington, they do have an inordinate amount of injuries here, and they're definitely not full strength.
No, that's for sure. They've lost some skilled players late in the year that have really put a hamper on their offensive production, and it's sad because that is getting to be quite a neat little rivalry there.
It is, and on our county from us. On our other Campus Nation channel, we had the Fayette County Championship, and that was between the Blue Lions of Washington Courthouse and the Panthers of Miami Trace. And that, too, was won by the Blue Lions handily over the Trace Panthers. I think the final score there, and I was there, so I'll try to remember. I think it was 42-12. But anyway.
Nice season,
of course,
for Blue
that
Lions.
One is not a new rivalry.
No.
I'm not sure how many incarnations they've had there, but
yeah,
quite a few.
And only being 10 minutes away, that is a fierce rivalry. That's
yes,
probably one of the closest high school combinations that you're going to find just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, of course, Thursday night, we were up in Canton where we broadcast the Malone Pioneers game with the Findlay Oilers. The Oilers came out on top 48-0.
49? 48 or 49?
I think it was... Did they miss extra point? I don't know if they did or not.
It was a lot to a little guy.
Yeah.
It
well,
was
in the bottom line
handily
is
right.
Findlay's nationally ranked, and Rick, they are a good football team.
Yeah.
They run the ball well, they pass the ball well, they play great defense. So
the Oilers have been pretty dominant up there for quite a while.
Since most of these games were fairly lopsided, but it was, we had a good time, and we've been very busy the last few days.
Yeah, and of course it was at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
Can't beat that.
If you've not been up there, you definitely owe it to yourself to see the new stadium. It'll be
a lot of renovations done up there.
Not this year. I don't believe they're playing the Ohio High School state championship football games. I think it's next year they start with that. But it'll definitely be a treat for people to go to that stadium and see the championship games there. So we're getting ready for the kickoff here. Back deep for the Hurricane are number 4 and appears to be number 11. And so we will check those out, and that would be
Elijah Rice.
Elijah Rice,
number 4.
The little gentleman we were just talking about, little diminutively in height, but well
not
built.
In speed, apparently.
Yes, not in speed, and a well-built athlete there. And then number 11 is Ronnie Monroe.
Yeah, number 12, Dominic Farmer, is going to be kicking off for the Hawks, and just watching warm-ups, he was practicing kicking the ball on the ground, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them try to keep it away from
Elijah Rice.
From Mr. Rice.
Yeah, Chuck had picked up on the onside practice there, and You know, I have always said I was never a proponent of kicking the ball to the fastest guy on the field.
Doesn't make much sense. We saw that last night a couple times with the Blue Lions. They made the mistake of kicking to the Trace Panther, and he brought it back like 88 yards.
And it's just
See
as
a low
we
line
predicted,
drive kick.
Yeah.
down to the 20, and it's Monroe. Monroe's back up to the 30,
Uh-oh.
35-40, cuts back to 45-50, and out about at the 48-yard line. Actually going to mark it at the 46 of the Hawks, and that's where the Hurricane will take control of the football, Chuck.
Yeah, Hocking looked like a decent job covering that, but he made a really nice cut there at the end and was able to break contain and get about another 8 or 10 yards.
He stumbled at the 35. I thought he might go down there, but he regained his footing and took off for a big gain.
Yeah, and sometimes when those guys are coming down the field at you, just something like that can throw their timing off and get you open.
1st and 10, 2-by-2 formation. Fullback is up behind.
Yeah, Bill, I think we may have a false start here. No, they're not going to call it the reset here. Okay.
Fullback is set between the guard. Now that's a false start.
Yep.
And so doesn't start out well for the Hurricane with a 5-yard penalty. And that's going to give us a chance. Number 79 is a huge hombre there for Louisburg, the left tackle.
Yes, he is. Let me see if I can get the size and name on that young man.
And we will start to get some numbers. And
79, that's Paul Sherrill, 6'6", 290 out of Mount Pleasant. A large young man for
and
sure.
Lloyd looks, rolls to his left. Oh, incomplete. And they're going to – now that might be offensive pass interference.
I don't know, Bill. It looked like number 3 –
was hanging on him?
Yeah, it looked like it might be defensive holding here by Andre Chandler. Just wouldn't let him loose.
We're going to take a legal ID here.
106.9 WZAA-LP, Jeffersonville.
We're legal.
Jerike Moore was the intended receiver.
And it's actually going to be pass interference, Bill.
Okay, so after a miscue on the first play by the Hurricane, the Hawks come right back and return the favor.
Get all that back and a little more.
And so it's first down for the Louisburg College Hurricane. And
right to the line.
Little read option. And it's number 5. Breaks through the line. 20, 15 out at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, that's Kendrick Clark. And again, just a burst.
Wow.
After he hit the line, found a crease and took off.
And as Chuck had said, watching a little tape on them, they are a no-huddle team, and they go fast, and they come hard at you. So 3 receivers to the right, motion left, another read, and this time Clark is stacked up. Looks like he may have got back to the line of scrimmage. Kendrick Clark. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to say no play on that, Chuck, because they hadn't moved the chains yet.
I thought I'd heard a whistle there to start, but they didn't get it stopped in time.
Okay, 2 receivers to the left, 1 up to the right.
It is second down.
Okay, it is second down.
Yep.
So they are going to count it.
So we have big number 56 on the tackle for Hocking, but he doesn't have a name here on my roster.
Okay, and there's Kendrick Clark.
Another read up the middle.
And up the middle to about just over the 11-yard line, almost down to the 10. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and 6, I think, Chuck.
Yep, big Dante Marshall on the inside with the stop.
And by the way, it is raining.
And it has come back.
Uh-huh.
So the Hurricane, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Another read option to Clark. Clark bounces off to the left. And he's out of. He was nearly brought down and finally brought down by several of the Hawks.
Well, I'll tell you, big number 92, it looks like Treshawn Shanklin had him wrapped up, but just could not bring him to the turf.
So that'll bring up a field goal situation here, and we will see Jacob Benjamin, who is 14 to 17 in extra points this year and 5 for 5 on field goals. So Chucky's pretty accurate, and it looks like
good snap, good kick.
Bangs another one through. So with 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, it's 3-0 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane over the Hocking College Hawks. Kendrick Clark hits the hole fast, Chuck.
Yes, he does. He does not mess around once he gets there. You're right. And, I'll be interested to see what happens when Caleb Lloyd is able to pull the ball down and run one. But again, we've only seen really one pass attempt here, and that was on the pass interference. Other than that, they chewed up the yardage with just keeping the ball on the ground.
On the ground. And it was just simple read option type of stuff, very much like the old triple option where quarterback comes down the line, rides the back into the line. Of course, I would imagine we'll see some type of deep motion with that later where they can option off of that.
Yeah, we've already seen the flat jet motion come across, so you're right,
Yeah.
Bill. I wouldn't be surprised either to see that man go deep and develop a pitch relationship off
Right.
that.
Okay, so back deep for the Hawks. And we will get that here. Is we have number 2, Javon Wilson, and number 3,
Andre Chandler.
Andre Chandler receiving for the Hawks. There's the kick. Goes down to
short
about
kick.
the 20, bounces to the 15.
Number 2 picks it up, takes it back to the middle.
Picked up by Javon Wilson, and he's taken down about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he gave a little ground, Bill, trying to gain some and didn't get it back. It's going to be 1st and 10 at about the 22. No, I'm sorry, at about the 17.
So it will be the Hawks' first opportunity on offense. And they'll be led by sophomore quarterback Mikhail Clark, who has 1,325 yards this year passing and 15 touchdown passes. So we know what Mikhail likes to do. Their Hawks come out in a pistol formation, 3 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left.
Yep.
Oh,
And that's going to be a little pennant.
and have another penalty on the first possession, and it's going to be this time, it's going to be Louisburg
A
jumping.
little encroachment there on Louisburg. And so we've seen 3 penalties already, Chuck, in the first 2 minutes of the game.
A little bit of opening game jitters.
Yeah, I would say so.
In the last game of the season.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Mikhail Clark in the pistol. Looks it over, calls for the ball. And it's a little play action fake, and Clark keeps it. And he's able to get up for a couple yards out to about the 25-yard line. Be looking at 2nd and about 3.5.
Now 32, Robert Brown, able to finish him off there.
Number 58 for Louisburg, a little limp there.
I'll have to keep an eye on that.
Got a little banged up there. So, Hawks look over Coach Matthews for the call. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Mikhail Clark talks to the line. Gives them some direction on their blocking assignments. And there, Clark has the ball, gets it out quickly, and it popped up in the air.
Did you see that?
And it was intercepted by number 88 for the Hawks.
Just reached right up and snatched it with one hand.
Yeah, for the
Yes, he did. That's Arkel Vera, number 88. Again, we talked about him at the beginning of the show. 6'4" sophomore. They've got him listed at 305 pounds. Pretty big defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Well, he must have some big hands.
yeah,
I would imagine
he
so.
stuck it up there and
He
just
snagged that football with one hand.
That's right. Just snatched it out of the air, didn't he?
yes, he did.
The Hurricane are going to take over here from about their own 24-yard line.
Yes, and
I'm sorry, from the Hawks' 24-yard line.
Hawks 24-yard line, and there is Caleb Lloyd, the quarterback. 2 receivers to the right. He goes back to pass. He goes fade to the corner, and it is incomplete. It's going to be a tough one to throw deep ball today, Chuck.
Yeah, it will, and I'll tell you, really, it looks like that's just a situation where they ran out of real estate. You had number 9, Daniel Graves, the intended receiver, and he just ran out of room there at the back of the end zone.
And Daniel has 27 receptions and 5 touchdowns on the year, so
And again, like we talked about, he's definitely their leading receiver.
Okay,
almost
well,
twice as many catches as
jet
anybody else.
motion, give to number 5,
Guess who?
Kendrick Clark, and he's able to squirt forward for about 5 yards down to the 19-yard line, 4-yard gain. So we'll be looking at 3rd and 6.
And again, Louisburg right to the line.
2-by-2 formation. Clark in motion. They give him the jet sweep. No, a
it's
fake.
keeper.
And Caleb Lloyd. Nice trickeration there as he rides Clark on the fake. He pulls it and squirts up the middle for about what appears to be a 10-yard
Say
gain.
about 10 yards, Bill, right up the middle.
And so they takes the ball down to about the 7-yard line. Hurricane lines up in 2-by-2. Number 23, on the jet
this
sweep.
time.
And he gets to the corner, and he is in on a 7-yard touchdown run. And that is
Harris there, Coach.
Dontavius,
I believe, or
Dontavius Harris, yes. Dontavius Harris with a 7-yard touchdown run, and he got the corner, Chuck, and he went.
Well, and I'll tell you, Bill, we talked all in the pregame about the speed of Louisburg College, and, well, I'll tell you, Mr. Harris just showed some speed right there.
Yes, indeed, he did. And Jacob Benjamin adds the extra point. So the score goes out to 10-0 with 11:07 to go in the first period here. And Nelsonville at Boston Field. And
quick scoring.
Yeah, they're fast. I mean, we thought that we were going to see a fast football team, and I think they are delivering on that. The Hawks, of course, they have some speed themselves. I think the thing, Chuck, watching that first series on offense for the Hawks is they are going to have to be able to protect Mikhail Clark.
Yes, that's right. I think we had 2 dropbacks there and 1 sack and 1 tip pass for an interception. So,
and the Hurricane had good penetration on almost every play there. So they'll have to adjust up front.
Right. And it sounds cliche, but Hocking's got to do a better job protecting the ball on their own end of the field. Louisburg's shown that they can drive the ball from anywhere, but you can't make it too easy for them, give them a short field like that.
Very true. So we've got Javon Wilson back, along with number 3 for the Hawks. And Javon Wilson, fumbles the ball, and he is met by several Hurricanes down at the 17-yard line. So virtually the same starting point, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think that was number 20, James Coffey, came and just cleaned that up with a nice hit there.
Yeah. So the Hawks will start with their second possession here at the 17-yard line. And, they, as we said, they're going to have to make some adjustments. That is an active, athletic defensive line for Louisburg. Looking at their stats, they have a lot of kids with tackles for losses, so we know that they like to get in there and penetrate.
Yeah, that's right. Very active up front.
2-by-2 set for the Hawks. Pistol formation.
A little counter
The
action
give is
there.
to David Moore. Faked on the jet sweep and gave it to Moore, and Moore is able to get up to about the 20-yard line where it'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, looks like he got a good solid 3 yards there.
Yeah. Hawks are moving from left to right if you're listening on WZAA.
I guess even if you're listening on Campus Nation.
Or if you're listening on Campus Nation.
Until you actually get the video.
Yes, until you get the video. So pistol formation, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Mikhail Clark calls out for the ball. He gets it. He steps up into the pocket, rolls to his right.
Almost picked off.
Wow, almost picked off by number 7, Montreal Reeves. Had a nice break on the ball, and I'll tell you, that would have been 6 the other way in a hurry.
Montreal Reeves is a pretty active defender for Louisburg, as he has 30 tackles as a defensive back and 3.5 TFLs. So that's pretty good for a
DB. That's exceptional, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously very active around the line of scrimmage.
Yep. 1 receiver to the left, 3 to the right. Mikhail Smith in the pistol. Nearly pulls the Hurricanes off. He sets up the pass. Gets the ball downfield.
Right off his fingertips.
Number
9.
Number 9.
Kevin Greenhow, their leading receiver. I'll tell you, Bill, there's no other way to describe it but wide open. Did a nice job rolling the trips into the boundary, and the safety, had to go there in the middle of the field, was wide open. Greenhow just running to the post and just dropped it, hit his hands. No other word for it.
Greenhow has 20 catches for 475 yards.
Got a penalty.
And he probably wishes he had that one back.
I guarantee he does. See if we get an indication here what the flag is.
So we're looking at our 4th penalty, I think, already of the game, with 10:06 to go in the first period. I don't think the Zebras know quite what they're doing here with this.
Well, it's under discussion, under review.
No, it appears that...
Personal foul.
Okay, so that's going to be 15 against the Hurricane.
Yeah, and I didn't see it. I don't know if we had roughing or what.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't see it either.
Personal foul there.
Yeah.
So that's a real break for the Hawks here.
So 1st and 10 for the Hawks from the 35-yard line. It breathes new life into this drive. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Clark is talking to offensive line, giving us some directions on who he wants them to pick up. Back is set off to the right. Clark in the shotgun. Looks it over. We get a little jet motion.
And
They give it off.
Oh, good.
They give it to number 4 on the jet sweep. And
Boy,
that
I'll
is
tell you, number 8, Brian Smith, was
Karen
not
Williams.
fooled.
No, he was right there.
Karen Williams with the run.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Brian Williams just untouched right across the line of scrimmage into the backfield. Easy tackle.
Okay. So 2nd and 12 from the 33. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Mikhail Smith lines up in the pistol formation and barks out the calls. And then he's twisted back to the left, up right, back to the. He was left,
He
right,
had you
left,
all
right.
twisted up
Yeah,
there,
he had
Bill.
me twisted up and he was able to scramble out of a lot of trouble for a 3-yard pickup and actually 4-yard pickup. That was a pretty good run, Chuck.
Very elusive out of Clark there, without a doubt. Very elusive.
It was not looking good, to say the least.
Looks like we've got a handful of brave
North Carolinians.
That's
there?
right. And, of course, they came up here because this is, obviously the time of the year when you want to come to a warmer climate like Southeast Ohio.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure they were upset about leaving North Carolina. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Clark in the pistol formation. Clark drops the throw. Oh, he takes off and runs up to the 40, over to 45, 50, passes the 50 up to the 47-yard line.
He's finally drugged down there by number 25, Cole Negro. But I'll tell you, after a really nice run.
It was.
That almost looked like it was planned because, I think that they've been well covered, their receivers, and I thought it was almost like, well, you guys go out, and then I'll take off.
Well, it looked almost like quarterback draw.
Yeah.
Just have to draw the defensive line in deep enough before you could do that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not sure that one was called, but you're right. It certainly had all the earmarks of it with the 4 receivers all running deep routes.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Mikhail Clark in the pistol. 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. He gets out I don't know if that one was just a bad throw or maybe.
Yeah, it might have been tipped, but I'll tell you, that we've talked about it in the past, Bill. That's a long throw.
Yes.
Throw that out to the far side of the field like that. That ball has to be on a line, and it has to go a long way. So that's one of the toughest throws that you can ask a quarterback to make.
Yeah, that's really a 30-yard throw, and people don't think of it that way. They think, it's just an out, but.
Well, like we said, if that's not thrown on a rope, too, that gives the DB a chance to undercut that. So, you've got to throw a hard 30-yard pass there.
Right. 2nd and 10, trips to the right, 1 to the left. Fake to
play
David
action.
Moore, and number. Oh! It almost hauled in by Karen Williams.
Yeah, number 7, Montreal Reeves on the coverage there, but nice job with the slant, but again, just broken up a little bit on the contact by Reeves.
3rd and 10 from the 47-yard line. And some substitutions.
Yeah, we've got 81 Kayvon Gardner, the backup tight end, coming in.
So they are looking over to the sideline to get the calls and see what's going on as the backup quarterbacks give the different signals.
Let's see if maybe they give Greenhow another look here, Coach.
We've got the inverted wishbone here out of the pistol bone, if you will. Clark drops. He looks, and they got some max protection there.
Yeah, they
He goes
do.
up to.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they have max protection, but Louisburg had double coverage on the 2 outside receivers, so wasn't a whole lot there.
Was the intended receiver for the Hawks.
Yeah, and I will say for Clark, he put that ball where Gilbert was going to get it or nobody was. So
Right.
Just ended up being out of bounds.
So what are we going to try, a corner kick here or something to?
Yeah, the kicking game has been interesting. Last time we were here for the Hawks,
Now, Coach, if I'm not wrong, that's 11 Ronnie Monroe back deep, not number 4 Elijah Rice like we would expect
I believe you're right.
for Louisburg.
And this is Devontae Shoemate kicking. Oh,
fake.
Shoemate keeps
Fake.
it. He's up to 45, 40, back to the 35,
One man
30.
to beat.
One man to beat.
There he goes.
He's to the 25, down to the 21-yard line for the Hawks. What a call.
I'll tell you, I don't know if
Very daring.
I don't know if Louisburg knew something we didn't, but Ronnie Monroe just tripped him up long enough to let his teammates catch up, or that would have been a 6 for the Hocking Hawks.
So for number 13, Devontae Shoemate, nice little 20-yard gain there, 25-yard gain. As they move the ball down to the 22-yard line, the Hawks have a new set of downs. And number 2 goes into the game for the Hawks.
And number 2, Javon Wilson.
Javon Wilson.
171 yards on the season so far, 3 touchdowns for the sophomore.
So Javon gets the ball. Ooh, nice little run by Javon as he gets up over to 20.
Yeah, we got a flag. Looks like it's in that magical holding
Holding,
zone. Bill.
yeah.
We'll see what that is.
There's a hanky down on the field, so let's hope they haven't used it. 6:51 to go in the first period. It is 10-0 in favor of the visiting Louisburg College Hurricane over the Hocking Hawks of Nelsonville.
Kind of wish I had a hot chocolate franchise here tonight.
Yes.
I would be a millionaire.
Yes, you
You can
would.
make a killing here today, that's for
Yes,
sure.
you could.
So 1st and 20 for the Hawks.
They're right. After another penalty, which puts them back to the 35-yard line. First and about a quarter of the football field. And they give it to Javon Wilson again. Wilson spins and gets back to the line of scrimmage. So very little there. 2nd and 10.
I'll tell you, 94, Robert Andrews with a nice hit to clean that up.
Andrews
On the
is
inside.
a pretty active player for the Hurricane. He's got several tackles for losses, 1.5 sacks. So he is. They've got an athletic front there, Chuck.
Very active, that's for sure.
2-by-2 formation here. Pistol in the backfield. Wilson lined up deep behind Clark. Clark drops, another quarterback draw. He's up to the 30, 25, down to about almost the original line of scrimmage.
I think that was a design draw there.
Yeah, that one.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but the action out of the slot receiver there, he did a really nice job faking the bubble there.
Yeah. Drawing a linebacker out of the box and opened it up for Clark to scramble up to the 24-yard line, which 3rd and 11 doesn't make it where you really want to be, but could have been a lot worse there, Chuck.
Well, I'll tell you too, Bill, where they're at on the field, this is a spot where, you might want to try to set up a field goal. So anywhere you can get closer, you may not get the first down, but at least you're going to help your kicker out.
Right. Okay, so Mikhail Clark is talking to his lineman, identifying who
All right,
the most dangerous man is.
They've isolated Greenhow again up to the top of the field.
Okay,
And there's
Greenhow
no
is
safety over to that side, so it looks like one-on-one coverage there.
single receiver to the left, 2 down to the right, a little reverse boot action, and he finds Amin Gilbert, but overthrows him at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I don't know what the action was, but they must have had something in the middle because Gilbert was one-on-one there on the outside.
Gilbert
The
had him-
safety rolled over the top.
Gilbert had him beat pretty well, too.
He sure did. He was certainly behind him.
Yeah, Mikhail would like that one back because that could have been easily a touchdown for the Hawks. So 4th down, and, remembering the last time we were here, the kicking game was still up in the air.
Right,
So,
yeah, it wasn't really solid.
So I would say what they're looking at here is there's really no choice but to go for it here.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do here on 4th down and about 12. They're going to go for it.
Okay, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation in the backfield. 4th and 11. Mikhail Clark drops. He looks. Scrambles to his left.
Ooh.
Oh, and Kevin Greenhow.
I'll tell you,
Office.
McHale took a shot there, Coach, from...
Yeah, I was waiting to see if a flag was going to go down on that, Chuck.
Yeah, it
because-
was close for sure. Number 50, Montrell Webb, just laid the hammer to him. Again, Webb is they've got him listed at a 260-pound lineman, but boy, he looked like a linebacker there on that hit. That was phenomenal.
Impressive. Again, we talked about this earlier. It's just some impressive athletes out there for the Louisburg team. We'll get starting to put together some numbers on their offensive line to recognize those kids. And
a nice stretch to the far side of the field.
And that was a DeMarcus Alexander, number 16. DeMarcus has 246 yards on the season with 4 touchdowns. Okay. Hurricane come out with 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
In the slot here.
In a pistol formation. And Alexander is gone. He's to the 50.
We're gonna have
He's
holding,
to the
Bill.
40, 30, 20, 5, 10, 5.
Easy touchdown. We're going to have a holding penalty. He's going to bring that one back, Bill.
Holding penalty. So DeMarcus Alexander, which would have been a 66-yard run.
There it is.
Against the Hurricanes.
So, we talked about the rotation of running backs and that, and here's Alexander, takes off on a 19-yard run or a 66-yard run. Now it looks like he may get a little bit of a break.
He may need one.
Yeah, I was going to say it may not be unexpected. So it looks like Dontavius Harris is going to be the new tailback. Number 23. So a lot of penalties so far, Chuck.
Yes, there has been quite an array here.
Yeah. So,
Coach, I don't know if you saw that, but big number 48, the H-back for the Hurricanes, 5'11", 250-pound Jacoby Emery has entered the game. And I imagine he could probably clear some paths for some
it'd
people.
probably be a nice lead blocker, I would think.
See if they don't use him that way right here.
Okay, so we've got pistol formation, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And the give is to Dontavius Harris.
And they do run behind Emery there, and a nice pickup there. Going to get back about
to the
7.
About to the 29-yard line, so they'll be looking at
third and about 6, Coach.
Third and about 6.
Going fast.
Okay, and Devontae Harris again. And Harris is up over the 35-yard line, moved the chains for the Hurricane, and here they go.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, nice thing about Harris there, he does not go down on the first contact.
No.
He bounces off and just keeps
Not
going.
a real big guy, so you don't see him until he pops through the line.
So, but
right, and there's Alexander off to the right. Alexander to the 40, to the 50-yard line, and Alexander was like a knife through hot butter on that one.
Well, and I'll tell you, too,
hot knife through butter.
Looks like those two.
I got that one backwards.
Looks like those two almost have that thunder and lightning thing going.
Yes, indeedy.
Got a small quick back and then followed up with a big power back.
Lined up again.
And we give it to Alexander again. He's up to the 50. Oh, Matt bounces off that up to the 45, out at about the 42-yard line. And DeMarcus Alexander's impressive running there, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these Hurricane backs are not going down on one contact.
Alexander's going to get a little bit of a break, and they're going to come back with Dontavius Harris.
Yeah, just curious, Bill, we haven't seen McKendrick Clark much this series.
No. Oh, little boot action, and Lloyd gets the ball up and picked up by the Hawks. We'll get a number here for a second. He's back to the 30, to the 25, down to the 20-yard line. Nearly taken all the way. That's number 14 for the Hawks.
Yeah, looks like Jaquel Felder.
Jaquel Felder. So the ball was tipped up in the air. Felder was able to field it at about the 25-yard line and returned it all the way down to the other 25-yard line, a 50-yard return.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and I don't think you can put too much blame on Caleb Lloyd there. He did a nice job to
Well, he got
get out of
crushed
a
too,
tackle,
Chuck.
and that's right. As he was throwing it, he took a lick.
He got crushed. And so the Hawks need to take advantage of this with 2:30 to go in the first period. They're on the 19-yard line, Chuck, so they've got a chance here to make this a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, Bill, I didn't want to say it before, but, this almost has a feeling of a trap game for Louisburg. They're coming in here 17th in the nation and, looking to wrap up their undefeated season. And Hocking is not back down one iota.
No, not at all. So 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Clark in the pistol formation. Looks it over, calls for the ball, and a little option action. He pitches the ball. Oh, reverse option.
He's going to throw
Kevin Greenhow throws it.
Wide open touchdown.
Number 81.
That's number 81. That's
Nice.
the backup tight end.
That's
Kayvon Gardner.
Kayvon Gardner.
What I'll tell you, what a neat concept right there, Coach.
So, Mikhail Clark starts to his left in much like in an option situation with his tailback.
Right.
And as he pitches the ball out, we have Kevin Greenhow come around, gets the pitch as he rolls to his right, and then
the opposite of the action.
Opposite of where Clark was going, and then throws it to the tight end wide open in the end zone, Kayvon Gardner. Here is the kick. And Dominic Farmer gets it through. And so just like that,
3-point ball game.
it is 10 for the Louisburg College Hurricane and 7 for the Hocking Hawks. 2:21 to go in the first period. So this is a fun play there, guys.
That was, yeah.
You like to see those?
I like to see that kind of action.
Kind of reminds me of the Ohio State play when Evan Spencer threw the touchdown pass to Michael Thomas in the Sugar Bowl. Of course, you guys know I always pull out the Buckeye references. So.
Of course.
Any chance you get, Bill.
Any chance.
Nothing wrong with that.
Any chance I get.
No East Clinton?
Now, well, yeah. if appropriate, we will. So, here we go. Hawks getting ready to kick off. Dominic Farmer will be kicking for the Hawks. And back deep is Elijah Rice, who we've not seen a lot of, Chuck.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think the Hawks have made a concerted effort to make sure he does not get the ball in these situations.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see another low line drive kick or even just a squib here.
Yeah, well,
but look at
the Hurricane is going to make it tough because they are packing the.
Yeah, the deep men are on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, so within about a 30-yard area, you've got all 11 players for Louisburg. And then Farmer gets the ball down to number 11. And he returns it to the 30. He's off to the 35, 40, back up to the 42-yard line. And that is number 11 for Louisburg. And we will effort to get his name here.
Yeah, that's Ronnie Monroe, Coach.
Oh, that's right.
5'8" sophomore.
Ronnie Monroe.
Looks like he's going to be brought down by number 31, Gassama.
Nice little 22-yard return. So Louisburg starts on the 43-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation. Lloyd throws on a little quick screen.
Jet to the bubble screen.
Oh, and that's Elijah Rice, and he's to the 30. Cuts back to the 25. Oh, and loses the ball out at the 24.
Yeah, but he's already out of bounds. And Bill, that just what you just said there. Number 4, Elijah Rice. They've tried to keep the ball away from him, but just shows you what he can do when he gets it.
Get Elijah the ball in space, and Elijah can go.
That's right. Shoemate with the tackle there.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol formation for the Hurricane. The Hawks will have to answer this quickly as they give it to DeMarcus Alexander. Alexander off the right side for about 2 yards. Well, about 1 yard. 2nd and 9.
Well, I'll tell you, number 58 there for Hocking. Let me check my name here. 58, Khalil Stewart with a nice hit there.
So Khalil Stewart puts the end of that action. 2-by-2 set for the Hurricane. Pistol formation, little motion. And they give to Alexander again, and Alexander gets the ball up to about the 20 or 19, just over the 20, almost to the 19. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
Now, to tell you, Alexander continues to show his power as a runner.
Yeah, he's shifty. He's a tall, lanky kid who can bounce it to the outside pretty quick. Pistol formation again for the Hurricanes, but not this time as the Hawks are up to the challenge. Dragged down by number 56 for the Hawks.
Yeah, 56 and 58. You've got both. I don't have a number on 50, name on 56, but 58 again. Khalil Stewart will play in the backfield this time. Lee Price, it looks like. We just heard the name for 56.
Lee Price, yeah. Lee Price on here. I got Lee Price listed as 70 on this one. So we'll correct that. So that is number 56.
What, I got a penalty?
Holding the call against the Hurricanes.
I'm going to be holding against Louisburg here, so they're going to get backed up, I would imagine.
Put them back a little ways. So 1:04 to go in the first period. 10-7 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane over the Hocking College Hawks. I'm stealing Chuck's pencil here, or pen, as I'm making my little notes. Okay, so Louisburg is pushed back to the 32-yard line. We've got trips to the right, single receiver to the left. A little quick screen again. I think it's wasn't sure. Tried to get it out to
Yeah, broken up pretty quick, though.
to Danny Graves, I believe.
Yeah, Daniel Graves, number 9. He just never really could get a handle on it.
Yeah, he's their leading receiver this year with 27 catches.
So we're going to have fourth and about, 17 here?
Yeah.
18. What it says on the scoreboard.
So
I believe
3
it.
receivers to the left, 1 to the right. You could see a pooch kick or something. No. Lloyd drops. He goes to the end zone. He goes deep.
Picked
And
off.
picked off at the 1-yard line.
Number 13, Philip Sullivan with a pick there for Hocking.
Philip Sullivan pulls it down, and so the Hawks are successful in stopping the Hurricane drive.
Yeah, 2
You know,
successive
that may be
defensive plays.
Devontae Shoemate, Coach, 13. We've got a double number situation there. I'm
Let me
not sure which
check
one that
here.
was.
Devontae Shoemate, who was also the punter.
Yeah, made that nice run on the fake punt earlier.
Yes. I think it is the same player. So Shoemate, now a tough situation here for the Hawks. What do you do here, Chuck? I mean, you're on the 1-yard line. You run a pistol formation. This is where the pistols sometimes get you in trouble.
Yeah, that's right. You know, sometimes you're a little too smart for your own good, and that's a situation, again, like you said, where, you know, your base offense probably isn't the best situation here. But
No. So
that's a good question. You know, what do you do here?
little inverted bone.
Yeah.
Oh, dropped it.
No.
Oh, no.
Running
Dropped
a
the
zone
ball.
read to try to get out of the end zone
Touchdown.
a little bit. And, yeah, fumble on the handoff and the exchange, and Louisburg falls on it.
Number 15 for the Hawks is able to pull that down, and that is
15, that's
TJ
T.J. Ford
Ford
Henley.
Henley.
Yeah, for the Hurricanes,
the
the touchdown.
6'1" freshman from Hoke County, North Carolina.
Yeah, so we just talked about some of the struggles you had or could possibly have on the your own goal line, and that's
Yeah.
an example right there of one of the problems you can have.
Just a bad exchange.
They were running the pistol bone there, and it just was not to be here. So Jacob Benjamin is out for the extra point. Appears to be good.
Yeah, just like that, it's 17-7.
37 seconds to go in the first period at Boston Field here in Nelsonville, Ohio. And, that was just, that ball was as close as you could get to the goal line, Chuck. I mean, it wasn't truly the one. It was the 1-inch line.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I thought on the interception they might have given him a touchback just by his momentum carrying him to the end zone.
Right,
But,
right.
But the spot was right there. Yeah, you're right, on about the 1-inch line. And unfortunately, that's the kind of result you can get when you're that
Yeah.
close to your own end.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see what happens here. David Moore going deep along with Javon Wilson. I'm sorry, it is not. David Moore is going to be one of the upbacks, and it's
Yeah, Javon Wilson, it looks like number 3, Andre Chandler, Coach, going to be the deep backs here.
Andre Chandler and Javon Wilson.
Along with Andre Chandler for Hocking.
So, Andre Chandler, number 3, will be back there. And this has not been a good time for the Hawks as it's Javon Wilson again drops the ball at the 15. He's up to the 20, 25, squirts up to the 30, over to 30 to 35, out to the 37. Much better return, Chuck, but still not clean on the reception of the ball.
No, that really wasn't. I'll tell you, that's really got to be a concern for the Hocking special teams.
Yeah, Coach Matthews is not going to be happy with that.
Certainly not. And again, he was able to make something out of it, but could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Yes, it could have been. As we saw in that one play, the last kickoff, where he picked it up and was met by two of the Hurricane very quickly.
Yeah, he took quite a hit lick on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did. Okay. 28 seconds to go in the period, so there'll be another play here. Number 21 is reported on offense. Antoine Allen, the sophomore running back, they're in the
inverted bone again.
Yeah, they're in the pistol bone, and they give it to Allen, and Allen bounces it up. Maybe. I don't think he even gets to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A lot of penetration there by the Hurricanes, led by number 56, D'Angelo McMillan on the stop.
So it'll be second and a long 10. Okay. David Moore comes back in. So David Moore is now the tailback. Moore is a sophomore with 264 yards rushing this year.
That'll be the last play of the quarter, Coach.
So 17-7. If it wasn't for that fumble at the goal line, this was
Close game.
a close game. So we'll see if the Hawks can drive it down and get that 7 points back and keep it a 3-point margin. I still don't know, Chuck, that Hocking has solved the defensive line problems that Louisburg is presenting them.
No, that's right. You know, we talked about all day about the athletes Louisburg has up front, and they have made life hectic, to say the least, for the Hocking Hawk offense. Again, penetration is going to kill any offensive scheme, and
Right.
you can't read the zone read when they're sitting in your lap, and that's exactly what's happened to this point.
Yeah, it's just a bad situation all the way around there. And especially when you're down on the goal line, that's when you can least allow penetration like that,
Exactly.
which resulted in that fumble and touchdown.
Second quarter play begins from the Hocking College 32-yard line. Second and 10. Hawks.
Okay, so Hocking breaks out to the field. Looks like they're going to line up in the pistol bone again. One receiver to each side. Clark is surrounded by running backs there. The safest man in town right now.
Till the ball snap.
Until the ball snap. And maybe this is what they're doing. They're going to that max protection. Clark pitches the ball down to Greenhow, and
Greenhow double covered there. You got number 29 and number 11 both on the coverage there, and 7 even rolled over there. So
yeah,
A lot of coverage.
So
Yeah.
So Greenhow has been identified by the Louisburg defense as the guy that they're going to not let beat them.
that's right. And you just have to look at the stat book to know that he's been their number one offensive threat this year. And so you're right. That's who Clark's going to be looking to get the ball to. And
Right.
if you can shut him down, you're going to go a long way towards shutting down this Hawks offense.
Right. So 3rd and 10 from the 32-yard line. And something's going on down there. Okay. Backs to the right and left to Clark. Receivers split to the right and left. Clark takes a drop. There's a lot of pressure for McHale as he tries to get back up to the line of scrimmage as he's dragged down about the 29.
Yeah. And, Coach, I'll be honest with you. I wonder if maybe at the beginning if they weren't trying to set up a screen. There was so much penetration coming there.
Yeah.
They've got to figure out a way to get a little protection.
A little time for McHale Clark. So Dominic Farmer will be in the punt. Last time Farmer punted, he turned it into a 20-yard gain. So
Elijah Rice deep.
I don't think they'll do it here, though.
No, I doubt that.
Now, Shoemate back to kick, Coach. That's
Or Shoemate.
Yep.
Devontae Shoemate.
Oh, no, it's
Oh,
over his
no,
head.
and it's a bad snap into the end
Snap
zone.
over his head.
It's gonna have, Shoemate's going to have to get – no.
no,
Pick it up and
Picked up. And David Moore is able to stop
That was fortunate.
the
I'll
Hurricane.
tell you, that might have been the luckiest thing about that play. The
Yeah.
fact that Shoemate tried to recover it in the end zone. It fell out of his
And
it
it's
got knocked out of his hands back onto the field of play.
TJ Ford Henley again.
Louisburg recovers it on about the 2 or 3 yard line. So it's going to be 1st and goal here for the Hurricane. So the special teams woes continue here at Hocking College.
Just a low snap that Shoemate didn't handle well.
He actually went over his head.
Yeah.
So Shoemate is.
So again, another turnover by the Hawks puts the Hurricane in good shape here.
Yes, indeed. So with 14 minutes to go in the second period, 17-7 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane, and they're looking to add to that, Chuck, as far as, you couldn't be in any worse situation there as far as the special teams has just been an Achilles tendon. I mean, last time we were out here, it was still a problem with the special teams, and it continues to plague the Hawks today.
Well, and I think, Bill, you find that at really every level of football below the professional level.
Right.
Where, you've got guys that aren't necessarily focused on that all the time. They may have another position that they play or something else.
Right. I formation, give it the ball to number 48.
Yeah, now there we see big number 48. That's our big H-back.
Is that Samuel Dixon?
No, 48, that's big Jacoby Emery, coach, the big 250-pound H-back.
Jacoby Emery.
Stanley.
2nd and 1.
So Emery, they're back in again.
Yeah.
Emery has a fullback, which you don't see much anymore.
That's right. Emery's actually the tailback in this formation, and he's just going to help force the quarterback in on the sneak, and so there's a touchdown.
Caleb Lloyd.
Number 6, Caleb Lloyd.
Have they indicated it yet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Lloyd,
Flag.
Well after the play, though, so
yeah.
we're gonna have some extracurricular maybe. And we may have a Louisburg player down, coach.
Yeah,
They're waving over to the sideline.
They yanked him up off the ground. He's limping a little bit.
That's good news, though, because
That is good news.
they were calling the guys out to the field.
Their big offensive tackle, looks like.
Yeah. And he is going to make it to the sideline. So.
Number 79. So
Well, let's see the penalty here. It's going to be a personal foul against Louisburg. So, and it looks like they're giving quite a long explanation to number 6, Caleb Lloyd, letting him know what the problem is. So,
yes, they are.
again, that's the second one I believe we've seen today on the Hurricane.
So Paul Sherrill, the 6'6" freshman from Mount Pleasant, looked like he was hurt there. But if some school's looking for a huge offensive tackle, he might be a guy that they want to take a look at, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and just from the looks I've seen of him, he's a long, lean, guy. Looks like he could really put on some weight and maybe be a
force.
pretty dominant tackle somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so the extra point up and coming for Louisburg as they move the score out to 23-7.
Good snap, good
Kick
goal,
is
good kick.
Good by Benjamin.
With 13:30 remaining in the half.
So,
College 23, Hocking College 7.
so 24-7 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane.
Yeah, really, Bill, you take away those 14 points off turnovers here, and we've got a 3-point ball game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the
And that's the way the game,
Hawks of Hocking have kind of given it away here.
This is very similar, actually, in some respects, to the high school game we did last night between Clinton Massey and Wilmington High School, where it was a matter of turnovers, which Massey was able to make into points every time they got one. And, that's a problem for a team if they get into a turnover frenzy like this.
Yeah, that's one of the keys of victory of football at any level. If you can make those turnovers hurt, then chances are you're going to come out on top.
And I believe, looks like the Hurricane is going to have to kick from the 20-yard line.
Right. There was
Yeah, they're going to apply that
penalty.
personal
After
foul
the
to the
15-yard
kickoff.
penalty, yeah.
Louisburg College will kick from their own 20-yard line.
Looks like we've got Andre Chandler and
Javon Wilson.
David Moore back deep
David
this
Moore.
time. Yeah, he's back deep. So
Okay, so David Moore is back.
we're going to get a chance. Should get a good chance to return this one.
Yeah.
And-
Good, at least good field position.
David's had 11 kick returns this year. He averages 32 yards a kick return. So A little electricity back there when David Moore's returning the ball. Okay. And Jacob Benjamin gets ready to kick for the Hurricane. Just the helmet.
Ball blows off the tee.
There's the whistle. Ball blows off the tee, and we're going to redo it again.
Happens again, Bill. You're going to be needed down on the field.
Something tells me it won't be Bill.
No. I don't think so. Okay, so Jacob Benjamin readies to kick the ball again. The Zebras get ready to put the ball in play. There we go. There's the whistle. And there's the kick. And Benjamin, a respectable kick.
Yeah, that really was.
Drives
Good
the ball.
hang time.
Yeah, drives the ball down to the 17.
Oh,
good
nice.
tackle.
Really nice coverage there.
David Moore's taken down at the 28-yard line by number 45.
Yeah, Bruce Knox just came through.
He knocked him.
Knox knocked him right there. That's for sure, Coach.
He did. So
You're on top of things, Bill.
Yeah,
He was working on that one all the right
I
time.
know. He probably thought about that all the way up here.
I did.
Let's see. I remember
So
this player's name's Knox.
Knox, and if he gets hit, we're gonna. Okay.
First down Hawks here from it's like about the 30-yard
Nothing like
line.
being transparent. Okay, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left.
Don't worry, if you're not Bill, we'll call you.
David Moore lines up to the left of Mikhail Clark. Clark gives it off. No, he keeps
Yeah, a
it.
little
He's up to the
option
40, out to the 44-yard line, and a nice little
Nice little
14-yard
run.
gain
Yeah.
by Mikhail Clark. A good fake to David Moore, and I believe that, Louisburg really thought that Moore had the football.
That was really a nice mesh point. You're right. And I'll tell you, number 11, Ronnie Monroe, just really getting in his way to stop him. But that could have went for maybe even more.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol formation for the Hawks. Mikhail Clark gets the snap and a quick toss out.
Yeah,
to
number 80.
Number 80 for the Hawks, and he is up to the 48-yard line.
That's Kevron Scipio, Coach, with the reception.
So Kevron Scipio is into.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's incorrect.
No, that would be Evan Pierce, I believe.
Yeah, unless Scipio's changed rosters, that's not
Yeah,
it.
Evan Pierce.
Evan Pierce,
for
you're
the
right.
Hawks. Has 6 catches for 93 yards this year.
That should put him over 100 for the season.
Yep. And so 3 receivers to the left. And it's a give to Moore. Moore tries to get outside, but it's dragged down about at the Hawks' 48-yard line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, number 94, Big Robert Andrews, another good play up front by that D-line.
Andrews has been a pretty active guy up front. We've called his name a couple times today.
Yes, we have.
In football action, Heidelberg ahead of Wilmington 14-0 there in the first quarter.
Okay. So the Berg is rolling again this year under Scott Donaldson.
Are we allowed to call them the Princes still, or is that
Well, I'm always going to call them the Princes, but I think they the Berg. I think they've officially changed it back to the Student Princes.
have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to switch that to the Berg. There's some screwy names, especially in the Ohio Athletic Conference. With
Certainly not referring to the Lords of Kenyon.
Yeah. Or the Lasses.
Lords or Lasses of Kenyon. That's
But
right.
I never understood that. Now, is it the student princesses for the women?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
I don't know that. That's
Yeah,
a
it
good
is. I
question.
think it's
Is
the
it? Yeah.
Prince and Princesses.
That would make sense.
And then, of
Well,
course,
and then of course the fighting Quakers. And have you ever known of a Quaker that was a fighter?
no, I thought they were pacifists.
That's right. So
That's right. They are pacifists.
that's
so,
right. So I mean,
Now, let me ask you this. Did the Village people graduate from Oberlin College? Because they're the yeomen. Yeomen.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that one. I'm not even touching that one.
Oh, my goodness.
you better go back to your Knox jokes.
Yes, the yeomen of Oberlin. Yeah, there are some weak names out there for college football teams.
Now, you say weak, I say unique.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
there you go. If unique is what you seek.
Wow.
That's all you can say.
Bill was up late
That's all I can say.
too much last night.
I was.
He was at Wilmington game.
We're back here, guys. Back to football. It's 3rd and about 6 here for
3 receivers
for
to
the
the right,
Hawks.
2 to the left. They emptied the backfield. Clark
Yeah,
all
5
by
wide here for the Hawks.
Clark all by himself here. And there's the snap. He takes it and decides to run the ball. He's back up over the 50-yard line, back into
Yeah, he's
Hurricane
He's only
territory.
going to gain about 2 or 3 yards, but boy, I'll tell you, did you see the jump that the D-line had on that one?
Yeah, they are quick.
They are coming off the ball.
They are quick. So it's 4th down and about 3 yards, and it's going to be punting time as Devontae Shoemate comes back in. And this is a similar situation to where Shoemate took it last time, Chuck. So
Yeah, it is. In fact, this might actually be a little better opportunity, a little shorter gain here.
Yeah, exactly.
Shorter to go.
So three gunners to the right here.
Looks like we're missing somebody for the Hawks. They're going to have to call a timeout.
Which they do.
So they're going to take a timeout on the field with 11:02 to go in the second period. 24-7 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane
Yeah, of
over
course.
the Hocking Hawks.
Nobody wants to be that player that just costs the team a timeout here.
No, yeah, that's probably going to cost them a little bit.
Coach,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've got a station ID here.
We'll go to our sponsor.
The Louisburg Hocking Ride brings the Clinton County Fields alive. Every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th, experience the fire-breathing sounds. Come aboard the sawed-off school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Court, Slaughter Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHauntedHollowRide.com.
And we're back here to Boston Field in Nelsonville, where the Louisville College... Louisburg. I'm struggling, guys. The Louisburg College Hurricane and the Hocking Hawks are engaging in a football game.
Shoemate will.
Oh,
Oh, he's going to
Shoemate.
fake this one too.
Shoemate, he's got the corner and he's got the first down.
Yeah, they
Great
picked it up
play.
again.
5-yard gain by Devontae Shoemate picks up the first down.
I'll tell you, we've seen special team miscues, and now we've seen 2 fakes
Yeah.
Exactly.
for Hocking College.
Well, I think, you look at their average is about 24 yards a punt. So you really got to evaluate what the value is in some cases to punting the football.
But
Yeah,
you would,
that's right. And looking at the stat book, they've actually tried a couple different punters this year. And
Yeah,
just haven't found what they're looking for.
No.
So, yeah, you're right, Bill. At this point, might as well just fake it.
except that after a while,
Yeah, they'll pick that up.
they're going to pick it
Well,
up and
that's
say,
right.
no.
When the fake is the norm, it ceases to be the fake.
Right. Exactly.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Mikhail Clark gives the ball off. No, he keeps it.
Yeah, another good mesh point there.
Another good
No,
mesh
it
point.
Looks like
And
he
Someone
may have-
recovered the ball?
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't
ball
know
might
about
have come
that. I
loose.
think Clark was down on that one, but it
Looks like the Zebras are going to call him
he
down.
was up to the 44-yard line.
I haven't seen an indication one way or the other, though.
Oh,
May have to go to the
Penalty.
Another,
We got another penalty.
and you know what? I bet we're going to have a personal foul in there for
Well,
some extracurriculars.
yeah. Looked like there was a lot of,
And they still haven't signaled where the ball is.
well, looks like
The Zebras are having a conference.
looks like Louisburg.
Yeah, it might be. They are.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, you love the indecision.
Well, we'll just have to go to the replay, Blue.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we will.
That's right. Back to New York. We'll
And we'll go to Greg in New York. Greg, how's everything going over there?
all right.
Okay.
Delay of game.
Yeah, they're going to call. That's a rare call. What you've got is the defense grabbing the ball and holding it,
Right.
not allowing them to set it. So
Right.
because of that, it will be a delay game.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see that called, especially in a turnover,
well, but the Hawks
suspected
have
turnover
retained.
situation.
Yeah,
They
you-
have.
control.
You're right.
Yeah, you do not see that very often, that is for sure. So 1st and 5 from the 39-yard line. And the Hawks are on the march here.
Yes, they are.
1 receiver to the left, 3 to the right. Mikhail Clark talks to his line, pistol formation. And he keeps the ball, and he's up to the 35-yard line. I'm not quite sure that he knew he was going to have the ball on that one because it kind of looked like it popped out of his hands, and then The mesh point wasn't real clean on that, Chuck.
I'll tell you, if that's the case, he did a nice job securing it, though.
Yeah, he did. Well, he made 4 yards out of it, so he's
Bring up 3rd and short here for the Hawks.
3rd and short.
So, again, you've got Kevin Greenhow isolated all by himself over here. So, you maybe a time you see them take a shot here.
Yeah. Although you got to believe their safeties
They're pretty tight, Coach.
are there. So Clark gets the snap, and he just keeps the ball, runs forward. He's met, but he keeps his legs driving. He's able to pick up the first down at the 33-yard line on just a...
Still got some chippiness going on there.
Yeah, it has been, that's for sure. We've had a couple personal fouls here and a couple scrums for some fumbles, so it has been chippy.
Yeah. I like the rugby reference, Chuck.
Thank you.
First down for the Hawks. They're at the Louisburg 33-yard line.
Yeah, Clark with a nice spin move there, Coach, on the original hit.
Yeah, he got met, and he spun off that pretty well. Okay. Pistol formation, fullback set off to the right. Clark gets the ball. And he keeps it play action. Oh. That was intended for number 81, Kayvon Gardner.
Yeah, you got number 22, Stanley Davis II on the coverage there. And Davis right in his hip pocket.
Kind of was holding on to him a little bit there. That could have been defensive holding.
Well, the defensive coach in me wants to say that was great coverage. But offensive coach in me says, yeah, you're probably right. That was holding.
Probably a little holding on that one. Okay.
Not called, Coach. So I
No,
believe that makes it great coverage.
Yes, it does. They agreed with the defense coordinator on that one.
What do we got?
Well, Mikhail Clark is talking to the line.
It's an official's
timeout, for something, but
he's making adjustments there. Okay, pistol formation with the fullback offset to the right. 2 receivers up to the top. 1 Kevin Greenhow. And it is a fade to Greenhow. Greenhow adjusts. Touchdown!
What a great play by
Hawks.
Greenhow. Great play by Greenhow.
And Greenhow lost his footing, was able to, it was like the back shoulder fade concept, was able to come inside, got the ball at the 2-yard line, and dove into the end zone for a touchdown for the Hawks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if he hadn't recovered, that may have very well been an interception going the other way.
Yeah.
But he was able to recover his feet and make a play on the football and bring it in for a touchdown.
The big playmaker for the Hawks, Kevin Greenhow, is able to come up big again. And we have Dominic Farmer in for the kick, and the extra point limps over to the goal bar, but
still good, Coach.
Yeah. The goal bar. I'm struggling, guys. I'm still
from last night.
Too much action. A couple nights ago.
Too many.
That's going to make it
that ride to Canton.
That'll do it. It's going to make it a 10-point game here, guys. With just under 9 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, we really gallivant all around the state all the time, don't we?
We do. We went from all points. Canton to Wilmington to Nelsonville. A couple weeks from now, we'll be at John Carroll for the John Carroll Blue Streaks and the Mount Union Purple Raiders.
And we'll be back here.
And we'll be back here, too, for their season finale against Asa College. So we will be all over here. Of course, next week, we will be back to Wilmington College as they take on the Muskies of Muskingum.
My 3rd win, my prediction for Wilmington College.
The Magenta Line.
Yes.
Will be coming to Wilmington.
One of our colleagues, Mike Fritz, is a graduate.
Alumni of that football program as well.
Jeez. Yes. Graduate of the Muskingum Muskie program.
Shout out to Mike Fritz, just celebrating a birthday.
Yes, he did. Mike, I'm sorry I couldn't make your birthday party that night.
29 for the first time, I believe.
29 for the first time. And there is the kickoff.
Another low kick.
Farmer, a line drive by Farmer. Almost bounces off one of the Hurricane. And
yeah, that was right to 44 Samuel Dixon, and it bounced right off his chest plate. And, boy, almost turned into another turnover here, but they're able to fall on it.
And just like that, now that could have changed the game around real quick there.
Definitely.
Another big momentum shift, you're right.
Yeah.
But we'll see if the Hawks can do something on defense here to do the same thing here.
Yeah, it'd be good if they could get a stop and make this game interesting.
Yep. So Caleb Lloyd comes out to lead the offense. Number 23, Dontavies Harris is the back for the Hawks. I'm sorry, for the Hurricane. Okay, and they give it to Harris. Harris is off the left side, and he's able to elude a couple tacklers. And wow.
The ball was out.
Wow.
Yeah, he took a wallop over there, Coach. I'm not sure who delivered the hit, but number 23 for Hocking ended up with the football. But
Yeah, he coughed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have already been down.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. A short game, so he's going to make it 2nd and 9. This Harris got whacked as he went off the left edge over there. Okay, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They give it off to Harris again, and Harris is able to pick up a couple, but no, the Hawks line is stiffened up here, Chuck.
Yeah, that big D line for the Hawks has stepped up and made some plays here.
Yep.
And that was number big 56. I think we said that was Price, if we're not mistaken.
So 3rd and 8 for the Hurricane. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, pistol formation, little motion, and they give it to
Give again up the middle.
And Harris gets the ball out to the 44-yard line, but that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, Price and big number 75, Zachary Page.
And it appears that Louisburg is just going to get right to the line and go here.
That's right.
On
Try to
4th down.
Sneak one in on 4th down.
And they're going to go deep on 4th down. Oh!
Almost had it.
Yeah, again, trying to open this game way up and just
got a
just
penalty?
couldn't complete it.
19, Jariki Moore.
Something's going on up here.
Is that a flag or is that just the yellow shoes?
Those
out
are the
there?
yellow shoes, but okay, so it's a
Yeah, there is a flag, but it's against Louisburg, so it's going to be denied.
It's going to be denied, and it's the Hawks get good
Hawks get
field
the ball right back.
Good field position on the 44-yard line. Jarike Moore had a chance to get the ball, but it fell incomplete.
Well, this is what we were talking about. Now they've made their stop. Now all they have to do is get it downfield, and this game will be.
It'll be a close ball game.
That's right.
So Chuck is flapping his wings over here. So we got the oop-de-loop over here on the left side.
Yes, we do. 4 wide receivers in a
In
diamond pattern.
Diamond pattern, and it's a pitch downfield to Kevin Greenhow by Mikhail Clark.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was an interesting concept there. You know, you ended up with 2 Hocking College receivers splitting one defensive back, and unfortunately that one defensive back was able to cover both of them.
Yeah, that's when you got to get a little bit better separation.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
right. That's right. That should never happen.
Yes. But how often do you see the oop-de-oop? Not very often.
Looks like you're going to see it again, Coach.
You're going to see it again. So 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The 4 are in what we would call a diamond formation. Mikhail Clark last time went to Kevin Greenhow deep off of this. And this time he goes to the ISO receiver on the backside, and that's Amin Gilbert.
And again, just a simple slant, but when you draw the coverage to the other side, that becomes open.
So Gilbert picks up better part of 7 yards, so that's going to bring up 3rd and 3 from the 37-yard line of Louisburg. Okay.
I'm sure we're in 4 down territory now. So
Yeah. So we've got 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fullback lines up to the left, right behind the guard and tackle. Pistol formation, and they give it to. I think that's Javante Wilson
Number 2.
Javen Wilson.
Number 2.
Yep, that is Javon Wilson with a nice little run there.
And Javon Wilson pops through there.
Yeah, Louisburg's going to take a timeout here.
Yeah, they're kind of back on their heels here.
So Louisburg's thinking, wait, this isn't supposed to be happening. We were up 24-7. So 6:44 to go in the second period, 24-14 in favor of Louisburg College. And the Hawks are on the drive, and they have an opportunity to make this a much better football game here, guys.
Without a doubt. You know, timeout here gives me an opportunity to remind our listeners that we just heard tonight is the last night for Haunted Hollow.
It is.
A Clinton County tradition. If you have not been, you need to get out there and see it.
It sounds like it's a little bit too scary for me, Chuck.
Well, Bill, it might be. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, you know, I just don't know if I could handle that type of terror in my life.
It is the experience. I will say that. Again, if you've never been, get out there and give it a shot. I do recommend it.
There you go.
So we got about 6:44 to go here in the half. And again, you've got Hocking driving here, trying to, again, get this back within a field goal game.
Exactly right. So the Hawks break out here. Okay, so Kevin Greenhow to the left and is the single receiver. Trips to the right.
Again, Greenhouse singled over here. We'll see if they do something with it.
Javon Wilson is the back behind Mikhail Clark. And the Hurricane is a little bit, they have a three-man front. Putting 8 into coverage here, Chuck. Okay, Clark drops. He's going to Greenhow again in the end zone. I think
he caught it out of bounds.
Yeah, I think he did catch it. You're right, but couldn't get 1 foot in.
So Clark throws the back shoulder fade to Kevin Greenhow at the 1 yard line, who is unable to haul it in. But
Bill, I know you're not going to believe this. There's another flag on the field. Hands to the face
mask.
Yeah, on Louisburg. No, I'm sorry. That's on.
Yeah, it's on the Hawks.
Yeah, that's on the Hawks.
Yeah.
So they're going to get backed up here. So it's going to be second and really long here, it looks like.
Yeah. Looks like it'll back them up to at least probably, I'm thinking it's going to be the 36 or 37 yard line.
Yeah, so far that timeout's turning out for Louisburg. See if it continues.
So that's going to make it second and about half.
Second in Circleville.
Yeah. Second and 25 for the Hawks. So what's your second and 25 play here? Is that fade to Kevin Greenhow again?
I'm going to say quarterback draw.
Yeah, you know, when you're on the quarterback draw, I like to empty the backfield on that type of thing.
And we've seen that already out of the Hawks, go 5 wide and then run the draw. So.
Okay, so coach is running out. I think I don't know, I'm not quite sure what he's doing besides yelling at the team.
Well, it was like he was cheerleading there.
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Huh. Well, that was interesting. The coach ran across the field from the other side, and he was.
Yeah, I'm speechless, Coach. I don't know what's going on right now.
No, even it's like.
I know that we're quite sure that what's going on here. We have a stop in the action.
Well, he wasn't tackled by any guards or anything, so I don't know what.
6:37 to go. Mike Curtis didn't come out and hammer him across the face mask.
No, the Zebras were kind of puzzled.
Yeah.
Now they're coming over to talk with the Hawks.
Yeah, at first I thought that maybe what happened was that there was a tee or something on the field, and the coach was going out there to get it. But
Coach, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I think maybe that. Is that a Hocking coach that was gathering maybe towels or something for the other team, and maybe they're doing a good deed and sharing dry towels on a day like today? I don't know, but he came over here and grabbed a bag on the sideline and then headed inside. So
Chuck,
at
this point, any theory is plausible.
There we go.
Well, at least there's no flags thrown.
Right. So,
but there is a break in the action for some reason.
Yeah.
Is it time for a haunting again there, Rick?
I don't know, but they are
or station break, or
there's some water for the.
Yeah, Bobby Boucher would bring water out to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he would have already had it out there, Coach. Without a doubt.
He would see any signs of dehydration. He wanted to make sure those guys get their water.
That's right.
They're sweating profusely.
Yeah. So hot.
Yeah, it might be freezing on them today. Okay, we're returning to action.
Back to the action here?
One of the most bizarre stoppages of action I've ever seen in a football game.
Everybody was exchanging Facebook information or something.
They were.
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe Charlie had stopped the action. I don't know.
Okay, so
we got two receivers to the left.
Second and a long way.
Two to the right. Pistol formation. Okay.
Now we're in
Motion by
to
Gardner.
trips.
Gardner runs over now to the right side into trips.
Yeah, so again, Gardner, we got an isolation down there at the bottom.
2nd and 25, and a little quick screen, little jailbreak action, but a little bit too low for Greenhow to handle.
Yeah, it was on the ground.
Yeah, I never had a chance to do anything with it there.
No.
So it's just a small fourth and
Third and
25.
3rd and 25. So, I guess the way you got to look at this is you're going to have to chunk this. You're going to have to hope that you can pick up 12, 15 yards and get the other half.
Try to get half of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you pick up 10 yards, you're just about in the red zone here. So.
Yeah, exactly. Oop-de-loop again to the left, and quick screen out to number 2, Javon Wilson. And Wilson is able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, 1 or 2 after that maybe, but 59 Chris Garris on the tackle.
They gave him 1 yard, it looks like. So 4th and 24 from the 38-yard line, and I guess you go. I don't know. Do you want to give Louisburg has not been extremely explosive in the last couple possessions, but do you want to give them the ball at the 39-yard line?
Well, that's the thing. I think, with your punting woes, even a short punt here would really be preferred.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think I might kick it here, but they're going to go
4
for it.
receivers to the left. They get it out to Green.
double
And
pass.
Greenhow with the double pass.
Yep.
He throws it back to.
Intended for Clark.
And it's a good thing that Clark, he threw it back to the quarterback, Mikhail Clark, after they had thrown the quick screen to him. But that would have been disastrous for Clark had he caught the ball.
Yeah, they would have actually lost yards on that, it looks like, if they had completed it. So, again, another shot at a trick play. This one not as successful as the first.
No, not at all.
That's going to bring up a turnover here. Actually, the Hurricanes are going to get the ball back here with just inside 6 minutes to go in the half.
5:38 to go. First half, 24-14 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricane. The Hocking Hawks, they stopped them last time in this situation, guys. Maybe they'll dial up another one.
Get a turnover. Maybe
The Hurricane goes empty. They get a jet sweep to number, I think that's
Yep.
Good defense.
Kendrick Clark.
And again, we hadn't seen Clark in a couple series.
No.
Now he's back in.
Right. And they're
That's
able
nice to see. Good thing he's not injured.
Right. They're able to run him out after for a yard loss.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing the Hawks there get their own penetration. And kind of shut down that jet. So
yeah, it's kind of evened itself out here.
It really has.
Empty backfield, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. They're going to bring jet motion again.
Clark again.
A little play action to Clark. They hit number 9.
Nice pass.
That's Danny Graves.
Yeah,
and Graves is up to the 20, out at the 19-yard line.
Well, he hit him right.
Yeah.
Right in stride.
That's right. Yeah. He didn't miss a lick.
That was perfect.
And a 42-yard pickup on that play.
Nice setup off the jet action the play before, and fake the jet and just throw the slot on the slant.
And Daniel Graves, nice catch and run. Just a little play action there was enough to freeze everything. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They give it to Clark, but not this time. Clark is met. I think that's Lee Price again.
Probably keying on him.
Yeah, I think he actually cut that back, Coach. It looked like the blocking was to the right, and he ended up running it back to the left.
Right. And big Lee Price was sitting there waiting for him, and,
That's right.
and dragged him down.
Yeah, Jacoby Emery back in there at H-back had a nice block there to seal the other side, but
2 receivers to the
cut
right.
it back the other way.
Okay, Lloyd is under pressure, dragged down at the
nice.
31-yard line.
Yeah, nice job by Hocking there, number 10. That's Vanden Vikota.
Vanden Viksakta, I think, is.
Is that Viksakta, how you say
yeah,
that?
I think
Well, my apologies to him if he catches this broadcast. But
yeah.
nice sack there. Nice job coming through. And
Nice job by
on the
Vanden.
sack.
So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. It's now 3rd and about 21 yards. A little quick screen to Elijah Rice, and Rice is out to the 20.
Oh, what
He's
a
up to
nice
the 15,
move.
cuts back to the 10, 5.
Touchdown.
I'll
for
tell you, Elijah Rice just showed exactly why he's one of the most dangerous men on the field today.
Yes. And we had talked about Rice in the beginning of the game, and he's had limited opportunities, but when he's got them, he is a dangerous, dangerous player.
Yeah, when he gets the ball in space, he just makes things happen. And nice little move there outside, and then a cutback, and nice score.
Yeah. Elijah Rice. 30-14 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricanes.
Yeah, so just under 4 minutes now. They stretched
And
lead
we've
to
got
31-14.
We got more dirty laundry out on the field.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Coach, I didn't see it, but that happened
It was
pretty long after the play, wasn't it?
It was right after the extra point.
Was it right afterwards?
I think. Well, there was a distraction.
Yes.
I just hope we don't have another personal foul.
Jacob Benjamin added the extra point to push the score out to 31-14 at 3:55 to go in the second quarter. And
we got all 8 on the field here
get a
trying
little
to figure
chippy.
it out.
It's get a little chippy.
I know.
Here.
What are they talking about now?
That's my only concern. When the score starts to get out of hand a little bit, this could be a pretty ugly second half if this continues.
Right.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct and
Both teams. Which never solves anything.
Offsets and basically means nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because the result is the same as nothing
Yes,
happened.
they can't decide what they want to do with it. So certainly at this point, the Hawks need to cash in on this drive here, Chuck.
Yes, they do. You know, again, they've got just under 4 minutes to drive the ball down the field. Let's see if they can make something happen. You know, again, we've talked all day about that. They've had troubles with penetration up front by Louisburg College, but, they seem to settle that down a little bit. So let's see if they can't get something going here.
Right. Back deep is Devontae Shoemate.
Yeah, we've already seen Shoemate make 2
Javon
nice plays
Wilson.
on fake bunts, so
Right.
we know he's got some moves.
And this has been a less than clean transition on the kick return game here. It's been very difficult to handle the football.
Yeah, and we really haven't seen a lot of great coverage today out of either team on kickoff, so there's always a chance that they could break one here.
They could.
Heidelberg up on Wilmington 17-0 now in the second quarter.
Okay, here comes the kick. And Jacob Benjamin drives the ball down to the 5-yard line.
Best kickoff of the day, Coach.
Yeah, Devontae Shoemate is up to the 20-yard line where he's dragged down by one of the Hurricanes players.
Good coverage.
Never quite made the 20. It's going to be 1st and 10 from about the 19.
Okay. And that's where play will begin with 3:49 to go here in the second quarter. And so, I guess you got to go with the passing game, I think. The running game has not had much success against this big athletic line for Louisburg.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you would think a team that scores as fast and as often as Louisburg does, you think that they would, their defense would tire out. But they played a lot of games where they lost the time of possession and still won big. So,
right.
They played tired a lot this year and had a lot of success. So,
Yeah.
You probably aren't going to wear them out just by running the football. So you're right. It may be time to really open it up. And really, that's what we've seen out of the Hawks the last couple of possessions.
Right.
We've seen them take a few shots.
Yeah, Javon Wilson with a 6-yard gain on first down, so 2nd and 4. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Clark gets ready for the snap and gives it to Wilson again, and Wilson is up over the 30-yard line, out to the 32.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Wilson just lowered his head and just ran somebody over. I don't know who it was. I didn't see who the recipient of that was. But
running with some authority, Chuck.
That's for sure. And I'll tell you, Wilson's not a large man. It looks like I don't have his height and weight, but just from perspective, he does not look very big.
No.
He just ran somebody over.
Yep. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol formation for the Hawks. Mikhail Clark takes a short drop and gets the ball out to
that's number 4.
Number 4 for the Hawks. And that is Kayron Williams.
Yep.
Kayron had 8 catches coming into this game with 101 yards. Two receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation for the Hawks. And they give it to Wilson. Wilson's up to the 50. Out to just over the 50 to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, really nice pickup there on 2nd and short.
So the chains continue to move, and this could be a much-needed touchdown for the Hawks.
Yeah, it's like we talked about, Coach. This is exactly what the Hocking College Hawks needed. Let's see if they can't finish this drive with one in the end zone.
Put one in the end zone there. Pistol formation with 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. 49-yard line of Louisburg. Clark takes a short drop. He looks. He gets out of the pocket. He's up to the 50. Drives forward, gets down to the 45-yard line, and that's where...
It picks up about 3 before number 32, Robert Brown, brings him down.
Right.
For the Hurricanes.
Okay. So that's going to make it 2nd and 7.
At the Hurricane 46-yard line, 2nd and 7.
And the Hawks look over to the sideline to get the play. Okay.
Oh, I know about that.
Clark talks to the line, lets them know what's going on here.
Hey, no,
Okay.
neither one of these teams huddles, but the Hawks seem to be a little more deliberate, take a little more time in their plays.
Yeah, they do. Okay, and Wilson is met in the backfield at
And
the
again, big number 58.
loss of
Kima
one.
Bell with a penetration and just blows it up.
Yeah, Kima Bell was all over that.
39 Hawks from the Louisburg College 48-yard line.
Okay, so Hawks look over the sideline, and I don't know, Chuck. I mean, if you want to score, I guess it's third and 9. Maybe your thinking is you don't want to leave too much time on the clock for Louisburg.
Well,
but
we know Louisburg can score whether they've got 3 seconds or 30 seconds.
that's true. And Clark steps up into the pocket as he drops, and
he's
he's
going to get
dragged
dropped
down.
by number 58 again.
And I would say that will
Big
probably
Kima Bell.
end it there, Chuck,
Right.
for the half, because by the time the ball is spotted, they'll be, and that should end it.
Well, I don't think you may get Louisburg to call a timeout here, Coach.
Well, clock hasn't stopped.
It doesn't look like they're going to.
No.
College 47-yard line, 4th and 14.
That's it.
Okay, so that'll bring the end of the first half there.
And Chuck was pointing out that
Got a half a second left.
number
on the
1,
clock.
David Moore, the
At least we thought it was. Hold on, Coach. We may not be at halftime.
No, half a second. Timeout.
So Louisburg is going to try to force a punt here, apparently.
Well, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. That's right.
well, and they've had 2 bad snaps on punts, so I mean it does make sense that you want them to try to snap.
Well,
it out.
that's right. And again, the reason to do it with this short of time left is, regardless of what happens, it's going to be the last play.
So wouldn't
if they
wouldn't
do
you just
pick it
go?
up or
Wouldn't you
anything
just go
else-
under center and just take a knee on
Take
that?
a knee, might as well. With half a second left, that's right. What do
Because
you have?
you just step back and
Yep. And it looks like that's exactly what Coach Matthews is going to do here.
right.
Well, not under center, so they can't take
No,
it. You
they're-
can't do
they're-
that from the shotgun.
They're
Not
in,
too
They're
easily.
in the oop-de-oop here with half a second to go in the half. Clark takes it, and he's going to pitch it downfield as far as he can, and picked off by Monroe.
Still running.
And Monroe's got it back up to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, up to the 40, all the way back to the 43-yard line. And for a moment there, that might have been
pretty good.
Yeah,
That could have been disastrous for Hocking right there.
yeah, it could have been.
And I'll tell you what, you got to give credit to, was that number 4, K-Ron Williams, that ran him down and made
Yeah.
the tackle?
Yeah.
If he hadn't, I think we would have had a touchdown the other way for the Hurricane.
Yeah, because so we saw a lot of penalties in the first half, Chuck. A cold day. Lewisburg has moved the ball all right, but I think the Hawks have stiffened up here, especially in the second quarter. But they've got to find a way to consistently get the ball into scoring position now.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. I was going to say consistency. And, neither team has really been very consistent today.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the key to victory. But again, Lewisburg, we knew they'd come in here with a powerful offense. They were going to have a lot of speed, and we've seen a lot of that today.
Right.
But again, we've also seen them make their share of mistakes.
Right.
Out of Hocking, again, consistency has to be the key. They've got to get some hats on the guys up front, stop that penetration, try to make their offense get going here. Because again, they can't keep allowing those big, fast defensive linemen from Lewisburg to disrupt all their plays.
And I think they've used Mikhail Clark wisely to try to control the defensive line rush with his little impromptu quarterback draws, which is going to prevent that line from trying to get upfield too quick so that they can contain him. So that's helping give him a little bit of time to throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, honestly, a lot of those aren't designed draws.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's just, taking what he's got and showing his athleticism and his ability. He's got some good elusiveness, but again, without getting some hats on those guys, he can't make them all miss.
Right. And, for Louisburg, we've seen a variety of, their offensive depth is impressive as far as what we've seen so far. Their running backs, Nikendrick Clark and Dontavius Harris and DeMarcus Alexander. Alexander, especially that one drive, he just was the recipient of some bad plays there with penalties, but he just pretty much was dominant on that one.
Yeah, I think he's had at least one touchdown called back today, I think, Coach.
Yeah.
He's shown some real power back there, and that's the thing. We've seen a nice mix out of these Louisburg backs. They've got a lot of speed, but they've also got some power.
Yeah, they do.
They've got some real weapons back there, and that's one thing I know that you talked about with Coach Highfield when you had him on your radio show. That
right.
That one thing they really focused on as a staff is speed,
right.
Finding different ways to use it, and they've really shown that they've done a great job of that this year, and that's why they're the 17th ranked team in junior college.
And I think the thing that we were excited to see was Elijah Rice, and he hasn't disappointed when he's been able to get his hands on the ball.
That's true. I'll tell you, I think that you can tell Hocking's made a concerted effort to try to keep the ball away from him in special teams.
Right.
And it's worked for the most part.
Right.
But Louisburg has found ways to get him the ball, some screens, some other ways. And,
right.
And when he's had it, he has made his plays, and he's got his touches, and he's got his points.
Thank you. So we've got some stats here, and let's take a look at the halftime. Okay. For Louisburg at halftime, 221 yards total offense. For Hocking, 250 yards, Chuck.
Yeah, and that's a little surprising. That Hocking has more yards, but again, like we said, both teams have shown at times they can move the ball. Right. They just, both teams are giving up a lot of penetration up front.
Number of plays, 32 for Louisburg and 47 for Hocking. So, and again, because of the no-huddle nature of things, that's not necessarily...
Yeah, that's really been par for the course for Louisburg this year.
Right. Passing game, we've got Louisburg is 3 of 8 for 108 yards, and Hocking is 6 of 21 for 125 yards.
And, Coach, I think we may see that become more of an emphasis here in the second half. It looks like the rain has let up, and the sun is threatening to come out here today at Nelsonville, York. So,
I wish it
again,
would.
We may see more of that in the second half.
We might. Rushing-wise, we've seen 113 yards for Louisville and 125 for Hocking. So, you talk about balance, 125 yards passing, and Louisburg, 113 for Louisburg, 125 for Hocking. And we've seen the balance between those two is that you've got, you couldn't ask for a better 50-50 split.
Yeah, and in fact, I would say, one thing that's really impressed me, again, we talked about it before, but Louisburg, just the number of different players that have been involved. With Hocking, I think a lot of that production has really come from Mikhail Clark. And maybe one or two other backs. But, for Louisburg, we've seen a real stable of backs here.
Yeah, we have.
Accounted for those yards.
Penalty-wise, we've got 7 penalties against Louisburg for 50 yards and 5 against the Hawks for 55 yards. We've seen 105 yards in penalties in the first half.
Yeah, and that's really got to get cleaned up like we talked about during the broadcast earlier. Just too many personal foul penalties. And, again, both teams had a false start to start the game with their opening offensive drive. You shouldn't have that this late into the season. No,
you shouldn't. When you look at turnovers, it's the Hawks have lost one fumble and they have an interception, and at this point Louisburg has 1 interception. So, although there's been other miscues in the game, I think when we look at that, that's really not representative of the true number of turnovers.
Well, and I think part of that too is we've seen that Louisburg has made those turnovers hurt.
Yes.
And again, like we talked about earlier too, that's the key of winning football games. If you can make those turnovers hurt, you're usually going to come out on top.
Right. Caleb Floyd for Louisburg is 3 of 8 with 108 yards and 1 interception. And for Hocking, Kevin Greenhow is 3 of 4 with 79 yards and a touchdown pass on his reverse flip down the field to it was, let's see.
Up to the backup tight end, number 81, Kayvon Gardner.
Kayvon Gardner.
Yep.
And then we had Mikhail Clark was 3 of 17 for 46 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. Rushing wise for Louisburg, you've got Dontavies Harris, 6 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. Elijah Rice, 1 carry for 29 yards and a touchdown. So that little pass that they threw to him, they ruled as a lateral on that one. And then number 16, DeMarcus Alexander, 8 carries for 27 yards and a touchdown. Kendrick Clark, 7 carries for 25 yards. And Caleb Lloyd, 2 carries for 1 yard. For Hocking, Mikhail Clark has 12 carries for 66 yards. Javon Wilson, 8 carries for 30. Devontae Shoemate, 2 for 30. David Moore, 2 for 1 yard. Antoine Allen, 1 for 0 yards. And K'Ron Williams, 1 for -2. Receiving wise, for Louisburg, Bruce Knox, 1 catch for 44 yards. Elijah Rice, 1 catch for 33 yards. Number 13, Cameron Caldwell, 1 for 31. And 19, Jerike Moore, they do not have him for any catches. K'Ron Williams has 2 catches for 60 yards for Hocking. Kevin Greenhow, 1 for 33 and a touchdown. Kayvon Gardner, 1 for 19 and a touchdown. A.J. Caldwell, 1 catch for 7 yards. Evan Pierce, 1 for 6. Defensively, for Louisburg, Cole Negro, 3 solos. Robert Brown, 2 tackles and 1 TFL. Trayvon Stewart, 2 tackles and 1 TFL. Robert Andrews, 2 tackles and 1 TFL. Brandon Holtzclaw has 1 tackle. Kima Bell, 1 tackle and 1 TFL. Arkel Vera has an interception, a one-handed snag out of the air.
Yeah, great individual effort there.
TJ Ford Henley has been around the ball twice right at the goal line with some bad snaps. And Kayshawn Forrest has 1 interception. So over on the Hocking side, we have Vanden Vixata has 4 solos and 2 TFLs. Andre Chandler, 2 tackles. Devontae Shoemate, 2 tackles and an interception. Dominic Farmer, 1 tackle. Tyreek Thompson, 1 tackle and 1 TFL. Alan Willis, 1 tackle. Trayshawn Shanklin, 1 tackle. Tyson Wynn, 1 tackle. Rodney Sutton, 1 tackle and 1 interception. Philip Sullivan has 1 tackle. Kicking wise, Jacob Benjamin is 1 for 1 on field goals and has 4 extra points or 7. Dominic Farmer is 2 for 2 for Hocking. Punting wise, Philip Sullivan 1. Well, this is not right, but they have Philip Sullivan 1 for -27 yards. So I don't know how that they ruled that as that snap over his head as far as being negative yards. Would go to team rushing, I think, is the way that should go.
Yeah, it shouldn't go against his punting, though.
No. And then in kick returns, we've got Javon Wilson for the Hawks, 4 for 30 yards, and David Moore, 1 for 4. On the Louisburg side, Ronnie Moore has 2 returns for 61 yards. So that wraps up the stats for the first half, and I will take this back over to the other side, and I'll be back with you in a minute, Chuck.
All righty. So again, folks, we're here at Hocking College, bringing you the Hocking College Hawks hosting the Louisburg College Hurricanes. And our halftime score, Louisburg leads 31-14 over the Hawks. And again, Louisburg comes in the number 17 ranked team in the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Association rankings, and trying to get into a junior college bowl game. Again, they're led by Trevor Highfield. Coach Highfield played for the Washington Huskies, the 1991 National Championship team, played for the great Don James up there. So if you're a football fan of Ohio, you might remember Coach James, coached for Toledo, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Kent State, excuse me. Well, I got my Northern Ohio football wrong there. But again, I'm sure Coach Rayback will be quick to correct me of my error there.
Well, I was at Kent State shortly after Coach James had left to go out to the West Coast and take over the Huskies program, where, as you talked about, Chuck, he was successful in winning a national title out there, beating the dreaded Wolverines in the Rose Bowl and Desmond Howard. So
yeah, what a shame that was. Let me tell you.
And we have an update in the OAC. Wilmington College is trailing Heidelberg 17-7 at halftime.
So Wilmington gets on the board there. They were down 17-0 last we heard. So
Yep.
Quakers trying to fight back.
Yeah, and we will hopefully maybe be able to pick up some OAC scores here and maybe some of the college action that's going on today. Of course, the Buckeyes will take the field at 3:30, so probably about shortly after we won't quite be off the air yet, but the Buckeyes will be taking the field there at 3:30. And, of course, we talked about a game of interest there with Oklahoma State traveling to Morgantown to take on West Virginia, and a lot of people are looking to that as a, an elimination game, as they call it in the Big 12.
Yeah, that's right, especially with the Big 12 now recently adding a championship game. So, that game takes on even more significance, you're right, as an elimination type series. So, and like we mentioned before, that's a tough place to play for anybody, no matter what West Virginia's record is. Not easy to go into Morgantown and come out with a W.
Yeah, and I think a couple games that are maybe, well, one is not flying under the radar, is you have the number 13 North Carolina State Wolfpack taking on the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. The number 9 Irish are. One thing we'll say about North Carolina State is they have one of the premier defenses in the country.
Yes, they do. And, Notre Dame at times has had their struggles offensively this season. So that could be a really great matchup. You're right, Bill. I think a lot of people are expecting a tough-fought game out of those two teams.
Right. And in Notre Dame coming off the big win against USC, maybe we'll be overlooking the Wolfpack a little bit, or, just getting a little satisfied with themselves, so they have to watch out for that trap game with North Carolina State.
Very true, but I would say, too, that loss to Georgia earlier in the year, if that didn't wake up Notre Dame a little bit to what kind of attitude they need to have going into these games, I don't think anything will.
Yeah, that's true. And then, you talk about Georgia. Georgia Tech takes on Clemson today, and, of course, everybody – I think every week, whether it be Army, Navy, or Georgia Tech, when you're playing one of the Naval Academy or one of the service academies, or Georgia Tech, because of the offense that they run with that wishbone, it tends to be that one trap game for everybody during the season.
Well, let me just say this. I think everyone knows that Clemson is absolutely unbeatable. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so, again, Georgia Tech, you're right, though, Coach. The academies and Georgia Tech and a few other very select programs throughout the country continue to run that old school, style of football. And again, if you don't play two of those teams in the same season, you're going to struggle because, again, you just cannot devote that much time to, that assignment football throughout the year. And it takes a lot of preparation because, again, a lot of times you're in a situation when you play that triple option that no matter what you choose, you're wrong.
Right.
And, those teams thrive on that. They spend all their development on that.
Right.
And, making those reads and everything, eventually they know you're going to make a mistake. And it's just a matter of whether or not they can keep it close and hang around close enough that they can make your mistakes really pay.
And, of course, you talk about other programs besides the service academies and Georgia Tech. Right down the street here in Athens, Ohio, Frank Solich was famous for running the option at Nebraska and brought that to Ohio U there. and really was able to turn a very dormant Bobcat program around.
Yeah, that's right. Again, OU had kind of been I want to say the forgotten brother of D1 programs in Ohio, but again, kind of the way that they're isolated from a lot of the state. Again, I think they don't get the coverage and everything else. And you're right that they were kind of had been kind of dormant. And with the exception of the Miami game, I'm not sure a lot of people in Southwest Ohio, even knew OU existed a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, that has always been a well-kept secret. And of course, in the MAC, you have those games like OU and Miami is always a big game. And then for OU, the Kent State's a big game.
Right.
And so the MAC has had its share of good teams, but Frank Solich has solidified Ohio U football, which is good for the Bobcats. Looking at some other action that's going on, of course, we talked about Washington State at Arizona. And, that in itself is going to be probably an offensive shootout, Chuck.
Well, Mike Leach, no matter where he's been, has been known for that. And one thing I will say, though, that, you've seen at Washington State, they are not a one-trick pony. They've got a very strong defense as well.
Yes, they are.
I think you're right. That has the potential to be a real scoreboard show, but, you never know. It could be could end up being a defensive struggle, too.
Right. And then what about USC? USC, of course, takes on Arizona State coming off the Notre Dame loss. You've got to wonder what USC is thinking right now.
Well, and I think that's exactly right. You're going to find out what kind of program they've really developed there at USC. Are Darnell and the Trojans going to be able to come out and really turn it around, or are they just going to kind of lay down? And, again, after a big loss like that, you're right. There's really only one or two ways you can go. And with that being was that USC's second or third loss on the season?
I think it's second loss.
At least second, that, again, that's, going to take away a lot of their goals that I'm sure they have for themselves coming into the season. So
right.
How they respond and how they finish will really show a lot about what kind of program they really have developed there.
They've had an inordinate amount of injuries, and I would say that, Scott Darnold, when you look at him, a lot of people were saying he was going to be the first pick in the NFL draft. It may be in his best interest now that he will stay another year at USC.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. I think you're right that that's a tough decision that's got to be facing that young man and his family, and what they want to do. But again, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's a redshirt sophomore, and a lot of praise thrown his way in the offseason as he led USC to a dramatic victory over Penn State in the Rose Bowl last year.
Yeah, honestly, I think if he'd have came out last year, he would have been a high draft pick.
Yeah.
So, we'll just have to wait and see whether or not he decides to forego next season or not.
A game in the Big Ten that's drawing a little attention is Northwestern and Michigan State. And primarily is, I guess, listening to a little bit of the ESPN this morning, was that is Michigan State's defense as good as they've shown because of the fact that Northwestern has one of the better running offenses in the country.
That's right. Northwestern, I think, has surprised some people this season. They've got things turned back around there with, I don't want to say going back to the Gary Barnett days quite yet.
Yeah.
But I think they think they're heading in that direction, and I would have to say that, I'm kind of inclined to agree with them. We've seen them really turn it around at times this year, and they've got a good place to recruit out of up there in Chicago, and again, so we'll just have to wait and see. But that could be a real game. You're right.
Yeah, Coach Fitzgerald up there at Northwestern is, always gets the Wildcats up and probably does more with less than anybody in the country as far as being one of the leading academic schools and really not truly a football factory.
No, that's very true.
And so we'll keep our eyes on those games as they go on. Of course, the NFL season limps along.
We're not even talking about them, are we?
Well, I was going to ask Chuck about what his views were on the crowd problems the NFL's having with, the stadiums being half empty and that. What other than we know the political aspects of it, what do you think the NFL has to do to get people to turn it back on?
Wow. Well, that's a loaded question with about 1,000 different ways I could go.
Stand up.
But
Yeah, well, that would be a good start.
yeah.
And it's not going to happen this year anyway.
Well,
I think their season's done for the rest of the year.
Well, I think the problem is that the NFL is in a unique position where they have a lot of different groups that they want to try to speak to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it has been shown by a lot of their fans that they don't agree with a lot of the actions that are happening.
Well, take their fans. I think that they're not speaking to their fans. They may be speaking to a lot of people, but they're speaking to the wrong people because,
Not
let's face
speaking
it,
to the
most
people that are
NFL
paying for the tickets.
football fans are probably blue collar, working man, working woman, and probably more, I'm not going to say rural, but because obviously most of these stadiums are in big cities, but
Right.
they certainly are or lean to the right, or at least they're in the middle, and they don't think as progressively, I think, is what the NFL's trying to.
Yeah. Well, I think, what was the saying? The NFL owns a day of the week with Sundays. And I think what they've done to themselves is they've overexposed themselves, much like baseball went through that for a while. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, you've got, you have football on, and then of course you get close to the holidays, and they even play football on Saturdays.
Yes.
You got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, and overexposure is a problem. Of course, college football is going to do that to themselves too
If they're not careful.
because they have games on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and that, and people love it, but they can't watch all of it. So.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
So we've got the beginning of the second half here, and we have and we've got
Louisburg 31, Hocking 14, second half ready to start. 15 minutes on the board.
and we have Andre Chandler and Javon Wilson are back deep, and Chuck got me on that one.
So let's see what happens here in the second half. See if Louisburg can finally get things going consistently, or if Hocking can keep causing them problems and get back in this game.
Well, this will be a key possession for Hocking.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because if Hocking can cut this to 10, then
And Coach, I don't know, but if you look at the second line of Hocking, it looks like they might be anticipating some kind of
Onside?
shenanigans on this kickoff.
some trickeration.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
And they've got 7 guys within.
It could be
15
something they've
yards of the
seen on
football.
film. That's the only thing I can figure.
Could be.
Like where Hocking has seen that Louisburg comes out the second half and
Right.
Okay, so actually it's Devontae Shoemate and Andre Chandler back deep.
We've seen Shoemate make 2 nice plays on fake punts today.
Yeah, we did.
But we know he's got some shiftiness.
Right. And so there's the kick by Benjamin, and Benjamin drives it down
Nice
to
kick.
about the
Yeah,
8-yard
it's going to
line.
be to number 3.
And that is
That's
it.
Andre Chandler, the
Andre
defensive
Chandler.
back.
Chandler returns it to the 22-yard line, and that's where the Hawks will start. So we saw that last drive by Hocking. They started to mix it up a little bit with some screens and some quick passing game, and I think if they're going to get back into this, that's where they're going to have to go.
Yeah, I'd agree. Again, unfortunately, with the being down by 3 scores right now, they have to do something to get back in it before they can really go back to the run. They need a lot of clock.
So, Cale Smith in the pistol. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Fullback. And we got a little jet motion there. And the ball's given off to Javon Wilson, and Wilson gets the ball up over the, looks like he's up over the 25-yard line to about the 26. So we'll be looking at a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, 32 Robert Brown on the tackle there for Louisburg.
So we have the Hawks at 2nd and 7 from the 26-yard line. And K-Ron Williams is lined up to the left. Kevin Greenhouse to the right. And they give the ball to Wilson again, and Wilson pops out to the 30, up to the 33 yard line. And
Yeah, I'll
that's
tell
where-
you, was a nice carry there by Wilson, but Jesus Himes with a nice block on Kima Bell there right at the point of attack to spring that run.
So Javon Wilson, who started to pick it up there towards the end of the first half, continues on here with a nice little run and picks up a first down for the Hawks.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it looks like they are trying to get the run established here, and
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Two receivers to the right. Clark on a short drop. Gets the ball out to number 28.
That's Himes, the H-back there, and
And Himes gets the ball up to about the 34-yard line, a pickup of about 6.
yeah, just when we talk about how well they're moving the ball there, they
Yeah.
throw it on first
Yeah.
down. So
Well,
good
get-
balanced attack here for the
Right.
Hawks coming out.
Mix it up and get it. Keep the defense off guard here. Okay, we've got one receiver to the right, two to the left, and we've got Mikhail Clark in the pistol. Fullback offset behind the left tackle.
Jet motion.
Jet motion by Williams, and they give the ball to Wilson, and Wilson squirts up through to the 45-yard line,
I'll tell you, another nice run. And again,
and that's another first down for the Hawks.
we've seen the Hawks really come off the ball here in the second half. The O-line is starting to reestablish the line of scrimmage beyond the original line of scrimmage.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got we have number 28 checked in as a running back for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's Jesus Himes, Coach.
Jesus Himes.
Been in there at H-back most times so far this quarter.
Okay, so two receivers to the left, two to the right. And we've got Javon Wilson. Now, his running mate, David Moore, we may not see David Moore anymore today because it appeared that he was injured. Okay. Clark takes the ball, takes a short drop. Oh,
Now just throws it behind
the ball
number
behind
4.
Williams. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10. And the Hawks are getting the call from the sideline as Clark talks to his offensive lineman. Talking about the fronts that they're seeing and who that they should be blocking. Give him a little time to throw the ball. Okay, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Back offset to the right of Clark.
Oh,
And we've got people running all over the place before the snap.
probably movement on the part of the offense.
Yeah, I might be defense was
Probably,
over.
we'll see.
Defense, I thought was over first.
But were they drawn? That's the question.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
it's encroachment
Yeah.
on the defense.
Louisburg.
But, defensive end for Louisburg was 3 yards deep in the backfield there. He's getting ready to take the handoff. Okay, so 2nd and 5, a much better situation for the Hawks now. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation. Clark gets ready to call for the ball, takes
Pass.
a short drop. He looks, and he goes right up the middle to Williams.
Whoa,
and
there's
it's picked off by Monroe. And Monroe's back all right to the 50-yard line, cuts back to the 45, almost up to the 40-yard line of the Hawks.
Yeah, I'll tell you, number 11, A.J. Caldwell with the tackle there. And again, he ran a long way to make that tackle.
Ronnie Monroe, a nice play by
Looks like number 4.
Ronnie. Now, one thing we can say about Louisburg, Chuck, is they are very dynamic when they get the open field.
Yes, they are. They are, no doubt about it. But I'll tell you, that's another situation. We've seen it a couple times where, Clark has thrown it up into double or even triple coverage. And,
Yeah.
that's not usually going to end very well for you.
And they've had to pay. And so the ball is given off to
It's number 5. That's Clark.
Nikender Clark is back in the game. And it's probably just like a replay of the first half. Clark started out the first quarter, and here he is starting out the third quarter. Okay, looks like they're emptied the backfield here for Caleb Lloyd. And Lloyd keeps the ball and runs it straight
Design
forward
draw.
and gets maybe
Penalty.
a yard.
Another flag.
So after a flag fest in the first half, it continues here in the second half with 11-11 to go in the third period.
Personal foul face mask there on the
Flag
Hurricanes.
Fest, that's a special from Long John Silver's or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe that's a Fish Fest or
Yes,
something.
it could be something like that. So it appears a face mask on the offense.
On the offense.
Yeah.
Yep, on Louisburg.
So I guess that would probably be maybe an offensive lineman that grabbed the defensive lineman's face mask.
Yeah, they threw it in the holding zone, so I would imagine that's what it was.
Right.
Starting to get a little nippy.
Yeah, it's getting a little cool here in Nelsonville at Boston Field. Okay. So the ball is now moved back to the 49-yard line of Louisburg. Okay, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation, a little quick screen, and it's out to Daniel Graves. And Graves is able to get the better part of 10 yards back.
And Caleb Lloyd took a little shot there. At
And he was complaining to the...
Yes, he's complaining rather vociferously, it looks like, to the
it's
official. He did not like it, for sure.
No. So 4th down. They are into Hawk territory, so it's unlikely they're going to punt here. I would imagine with 4th and 11, we're going to see
3rd and 11.
or 3rd and 11. Okay.
Now it's 4th and 11. Now it's 1st and 11. Now it's 3rd and 11.
It's 3rd and 11. Well, they'll make up their mind.
And we've got
And
a
we've got a
penalty.
Oh, and it was offsides on the Hawks. Well, it looked like it was, right? I'm not going to say anything yet. It could have been an illegal procedure.
Well, tell me this. Was it 3rd or 4th and 11?
Well, it was 3rd, then it was 4th, and then it was back to 1st, and then it was back to 3rd again.
Yeah.
So,
All I know is it was 3rd down and they didn't punt it.
yes. Okay.
Scoreboard operators.
Well,
Too warm.
Well, I've been watching the box over there, and then there's not a lot of coordination between the down box and the board up here.
I'm beginning to think there's not any.
So
So 3rd and 11,
Thank you, Chuck.
waiting on the flag.
Chuck
here.
won't be back with us the next game. He'll have to go north. Chuck will be going to John Carroll.
We'll be sending Chuck with Charlie.
Nah, too similar. We couldn't do it. Never worked. So it looks like it is going to be encroachment on the defense. So that's going to bring up 3rd and about 5 now.
Yeah.
Or a long 6, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so Louisburg looks over to get the call. And Caleb Lloyd, the quarterback for the Hurricane, gets ready, takes the ball, and gives it to McKendrick Clark. And not this time.
Yeah, not much there.
One of the rare times Clark has been stopped for not much of any.
Oh, another penalty flag.
And we've got another flag, so I would expect another. Probably tempers are flaring here with possible unsportsmanlike. Okay.
Yeah, you hate to speculate, but
I thought I saw.
you may be right.
On Hocking.
Well, I thought I saw the one guy, one official put his hand up by his face, like indicating it was face masking.
Personal
No, it's on
foul.
both of them, wasn't it? No,
Yeah.
Just one.
on the
just
Hocking
Hocking.
Hawks. Okay.
That's going to make it a 1st down.
So it's a 1st down. That's going to move the ball down.
He's walking.
Yeah.
15 yards.
Yeah, 15 yards. They move the ball down to the 22-yard line now. And the Hawks have gratuitously given the better field position. And there's the run by number 23, Dontavius Harris. And Harris is down to about the 19-yard line now.
Harris with a nice pickup on 1st down.
Yeah, that was nice.
Pick up of 3 or 4 yards. Okay.
Shoemaden on the tackle for the Hawks.
2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for the Hurricane. They give the ball to McKendrick Clark, and Clark is off the left side, picks up a couple yards.
Yeah, not a whole lot there.
Now,
Big number 92, Trishone Shanklin on the tackle.
And Hocking is stiffened against the run here. In the first half, it was much easier going there for the Hurricane. Okay. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left.
Oh, mistake
pass.
off.
Caleb Lloyd throws to near the end zone and is broken up.
Yeah, it looks like that was Andre Chandler on the coverage, and Chandler really read it all the way.
Right.
Had good position, just couldn't quite come down with the football.
So what appears to be looks like a 34-yard field goal attempt for Jacob Benjamin, the Louisburg kicker.
And no good.
And it is
Little
no
short.
good. So Hocking dodges the bullet here at 9:29 to go in the third quarter. 31-14 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricanes. And Chuck, they're not going to get many more opportunities to whittle this score down to a closer ball game where they've got a shot to get into this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Even with, just inside the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, you're right. I mean, I hate to say they're running out of time this short into the second half, but, again, down by 3 scores, you're right. It's got to happen soon.
Well, at least at this point, the bad weather has gone away. We're not seeing any rain, and
Right.
it's obviously a little cold. But other than that, football weather and the forces of nature aren't going to dictate what happens the rest of the game.
For sure.
Yeah, that's right. We should see less turnovers and maybe the ball in the air a little more this half.
Right. 2 receivers to the right, pistol formation. Okay, Ron Williams give it to Wilson, and Wilson is
Fake
up.
jet and a dive.
And Wilson gets the ball up to just about the 26-yard line, pick up a 1, so it'll be 2nd and 9. I would just, Chuck, I like the look offense, but I think, you got to be pressing the matter here if you want to get back into this game and try to run this a little bit quicker.
Well, there is no sense of urgency out of the Hawks. You're right about that.
Right.
And it's like we talked about before. That's one of the differences between their offense and Lewisburg.
The look offense,
neither
yeah.
team has huddled today.
Right.
But Lewisburg's a little more deliberate when they get back on the line.
Right. Okay. Williams bounce motion. They give him the ball on a little jet sweep, and he is able to get the ball out almost to the 30-yard line. Nice little gain on what we would call a bounce motion.
Yeah, just not a lot of room. Lewisburg stretched it out, and eventually he got to the sideline, and there's just nowhere to go. So
Right.
that's going to bring up 3rd and about, we'll call it a long 6.
Long 6, yeah. Hawks will probably have to think about putting it up here. Or, maybe Clark will look at that little quarterback draw that he's improvised a couple times.
That wouldn't be a bad call here.
Yeah. In this area of the field, cuts down the possibility of a turnover. Okay, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Clark gets ready for the ball. Motion by Williams. Little play action fake to both backs, and it gets number
Got him.
81, Kayvon Gardner,
in
in the middle of the field. Completion down to the 47-yard line of the Hurricanes.
That was nice.
Yeah, and Gardner stepped up and made a couple nice plays today.
Yeah, he has.
Again, like we talked about before, he was not the everyday starter from what we could tell, but stepped in today and filled the role very nicely.
Yeah, sophomore Carter Mangle is one of their assistant coaches from Hocking had said that he is most likely done for the year. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Williams in bounce motion again. Fake it, but then give it to Wilson. And Wilson got face masked
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
boy,
penalty.
I'll tell you, 56.
as he was going through. And that was a pickup of 2 yards there.
Yeah, like I was saying, 56, D'Angelo McMillan just basically swung him down by his helmet there.
Yeah, he just that would be what in the old days we would refer to as a flagrant face mask.
Yes, 15 no matter how you slice
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah. So when they used to have the 5-yard and 15-yard face mask.
Yeah, no real judgment required on that one, is there?
No, not at all. So move that ball 15 yards to the 30-yard line, and the Hawks are in business here. As a couple big penalties have helped them along. Now they just have to finish the drive.
That'll be the key. See if they can put it away here.
Yep. Okay, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And Clark in the shotgun with his back. Wilson offset to the left. Gets ready for the ball. Gives it a zone read, and Clark keeps it, and he's up to the 23-yard line.
Nice pickup. Pickup of about 6.
And so we're
Maybe
looking.
7.
So a second and.
We'll call it 4.
Yeah, 2nd and 4 here. And so the Hawks get something going here. Now, Chuck, do you really believe that temperature has anything to do with when teams come from the south up here? Do you think it plays on them any?
I had that same thought at halftime, and I was trying to figure out whether or not I really did believe that.
Well, it has an effect on me, and I live here.
But we live here, so it shouldn't affect us.
2-yard run for Wilson.
Honestly, I think especially if you look at smaller schools where they're going to recruit almost exclusively to their own geographic area.
Right.
I wonder how many of these kids have ever been this far north.
Yeah.
So in that instance, it could.
Yeah.
But again, as well as I do when you're down there playing, and when it gets bad is when you sit.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
As
These
long as you're staying
cheerleaders
active,
the cheerleaders are the ones that are really the coldest.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't think they've been sitting very long either, have they?
No,
Rick?
no. But even standing up there,
Yeah,
you can see
right.
they're shivering.
Right.
Hypothermia all over the place.
Well, and the rain stopped. If it was raining and it was like
Yeah,
this,
it would be
it
worse,
would be
without a
miserable.
doubt.
yeah.
Well, I did reserve my seat on the bus going back to Louisburg here. So
But honestly, I think when the rain stopped, the temperature dropped.
I
It's
agree.
cooler.
Yeah,
So-
it is.
Yeah.
It actually is cooler.
Well, there was some snow down in West Virginia, so we're not that far away where we might be experiencing some of that really cold weather that came through there. And of course, back in Wilmington, they were talking about snow today, which
Possible flakes this morning. I don't know. I didn't see any in my area, but
Well, on Facebook, I had a couple pictures
Did
of
you?
some. Yeah, Charlie Hargrave had some snow on his bush at home.
of course he did. Of course he did.
Well, he took pictures of the bushes out front
Okay, so
and the grass. It was actually in the grass too.
so Charlie had snow. Now, did it snow anywhere else in the world?
Well, unless he
that remains to be seen.
Yeah,
Charlie has a snow machine. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, snow cone machine. So here we go. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
Again, I will say one thing about this drive. They have taken some time off the clock. We're
Yes,
now
they have.
They
we're
sure
inside
have.
6 minutes here to go in the third quarter.
Yes, they have. So Mikhail Clark in the pistol, fullback offset to the right, gets the ball and gives it to Wilson again. And why not? Wilson's up to
Good
the
run.
20, to the 15, rides him down to the
penalties.
We're going to have a penalty, another face mask on
There
the
was
tackle.
3 flags. 3
Yeah.
flags.
Yeah, number 15, T.J. Ford Henley, just basically, again, pulled
Down.
him down by his face mask.
down to the 12-yard line, and the Hawks find themselves in a pretty good position here.
Yeah, I think that's going to end up being to the 6. We'll
Yep,
get half the distance here.
So it'll be 1st and goal from the 6 for the Hawks. And they've just got to finish this drive, guys. This is not one that they can't get a field goal here.
I'll tell you, you got to give some credit to this Hawks offense that they've come out and really responded here on this drive.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
have.
have. Yes, they have.
All right, so you've got it's like 21 Antoine Allen coming in the ball game.
And Antoine is their short yardage specialist. He has 167 yards on the year and 6 touchdown runs. So when they get down by the goal line, you can expect to see Antoine in. Okay, they've got the pistol bone formation.
So you're saying on my junior college fantasy football team, you'd be the guy I want.
Yes, he would be.
Yeah.
And
Keeper.
Clark on the zone keep.
Mikhail Clark on the carry.
Yeah, so
And
really, when
down
they
to
go to
the
that
3-yard
bone there,
line.
that just gives them an extra lead blocker there for Clark.
Yeah.
Tackle for Louisburg.
So out of the pistol bone, Mikhail Clark is able to get the ball down to the 3-yard line.
A 2nd and goal from the 3.
And so we will be able to see what the Hawks dial up here. Looks like they're going to go back to the pistol. Well, pistol bone again.
Yep, same formation.
Receivers right and left. Clark gets the ball and gives it to Antoine Allen, who's the goal line special. Ooh, and Antoine Allen with
Great
second effort.
there. Yeah, he got stood up, but kept pushing and picked up another yard.
He is very, very close. I mean, he was about as close as you could get without being in the end zone.
Yeah, he showed some real power there, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Be third and
I mean, Allen
a yard
initially
or less.
got stuck, and then he.
Oh, quick to the line. Let's see if they can catch him here.
Okay.
Lewisburg trying to make
Timeout.
some substitutions, and they got caught. They had to call a timeout.
All right.
They were not ready
Yeah,
for that.
Lewisburg trying to switch probably to some bigger D linemen there, and just
So
couldn't
we
make
got to
the
get a
switch
station
happen.
ID here.
We'll get the Haunted Owl.
Oh, this is too scary.
Line brings the Clinton County Fields alive. Every Friday and Saturday night now through October 28th, experience the fire-breathing sounds. Come aboard the Sawdust school buses for a haunted ride you'll never forget. Terror in the Court, Slaughter Hotel, and the all-new Evil Asylum will chill you to the bone. Wilmington Haunted Hollow Ride, 1261 West Dalton. For more information and directions, go to WilmingtonHauntedHollowRide.com.
I hadn't heard that one.
I thought you liked that.
That's interesting.
That was one of the older ones. That's like one of the old school kind of commercials.
Well, my partner in
thought
the
that was,
station, he's old school, and he loves his oldies, and I keep trying to get him up into the 80s, but
well, that was
he resists.
I thought I was
that
listening
was
to
definitely
some,
50s. There.
Oh, I thought it was some AM station from the 70s or something. You know? Maybe WNBC out of New York or something. I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't mind owning half of that.
Yeah.
I'd take less than half.
Oh my goodness!
All right, so we've got third and short here
Yeah,
from
it's
the
like
Hawks.
6 inches.
Yep,
I say Antoine Allen, guys.
I think that's a pretty
I
safe bet.
think they're going to dial him up again. So pistol formation, fullback offset to the left. The Hawks tighten it down there.
Movement.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Now, wait a
And the
minute.
Hawks shoot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah.
So third and less than a yard is going to
Now
go to
it's gonna
third
be
and 5.5.
5.5. Okay, so what a miscue. Just a
Well, I guess if you want a silver lining that, Bill, one thing that does do is
More
it does
room to operate.
open up a little more room to operate. That's right. So
well, that's when I was coaching, that's what I always used to say. I looked at the coach and said, "Oh, we just got more room now to
That's
work
right.
with."
Get a head of steam before
That's
you
right.
plow in.
So
the question is, did you really believe that? You don't have to answer that, Coach. You don't have to answer that.
okay, so split way out to the left here.
Now, we may get a slant here, Coach, at this bottom
Yeah,
side. There's a
'cause-
lot of room between
yeah.
the
He's going to have to set him up because the
Yeah, he's
corner's
playing a
taking
little
away.
inside, but-
Corner's taking away the inside. But we'll see. So Clark has backs
A lot of
to
room
his
there. He can
right
make one
and
move.
left, and they give it.
Nope,
Play
nope,
action
nope.
to Allen. And he is.
Threw it in the ground.
And Clark is
Yeah.
just pressured right off the
He
edge.
really never had a chance there.
No.
You got, what is that, 29?
Yeah, number 29.
Yeah, Quinn Maynard coming off the edge, and he never really had a chance.
They tried to play action to Allen and a little boot action, and there was nothing doing as the Hurricane were able to pull him down to the ground. So
Yeah, a little corner blitz there with Quinn Maynard coming off the edge. And
okay, so
Got a timeout?
let me ask you this, guys. You're 31-14.
You go for it, of course. You're not going to kick anything.
I was going to say, because
you kick it here, you bring it within 2 scores.
you bring it within 2 scores, but your kicking game is somewhat sketchy.
Yeah.
So-
Suspect, as we call it.
Suspect. So I guess
They've made 2 PATs today, guys, and this is
that's true.
Well,
It's just-
you're
2
right.
yards a bit longer than a PAT.
Yeah. So that is a good point there, Chuck.
yeah.
I,
However, the last one just made it over the crossbar.
but it made it over the crossbar.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, I tell you, I think it'd be an adventure, but I think I would kick it here.
Yeah. I just if nothing else, you've went this long stretch without a score. It would be good just to get some
Points.
some momentum and get some points on the board. But I think they're going for it.
Well, we're going to know here in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's. I think they are going to go for it, but I don't know that it's necessarily what I would do here.
Well, Coach Matthews gets paid to make those decisions.
That's right.
So
That's
let's see what he does here.
And I forfeited that opportunity a few years ago to do that anymore.
It looks like they are going to go.
So 3
Fourth and goal
receivers
from the 6.
to the left, 1 to the right. Clark in the pistol with Wilson in the backfield behind him. And this is, he's under pressure. Clark takes the ball, runs the ball straight forward up to the 5 where he's dropped.
Runs out of room, not going to get there.
The coverage was good enough, and he could not find the open receiver, so he took off and ran and got dragged down. So,
Well, it looked like Louisburg ran the same blitz they ran on the last play. They had the corner coming free off the edge there, and again, when you don't get a hat on that ball, and corner, he's going to be an athlete. He's running free, and really just didn't leave Clark much option.
So an 8-minute drive, well, not nearly 7.5-minute drive.
Yeah, comes up empty.
And the Hawks did what they needed to do to keep the ball away from Louisburg, but okay.
Heidelberg's gone up on Wilmington 24-7 now.
Okay, 24-7. Heidelberg over Wilmington. A little jet sweep action there.
Fake. Quarterback keeper, and he got nothing there,
Caleb
Coach.
Lloyd got nothing.
Yeah. Help me with this name again, Coach. That was Visaka? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Vicsaka.
Vanden Vinsaka there with the sack.
Yep.
Or tackle for loss.
It took me a while, Chuck.
Well, with a name like Raybeck.
Yeah, you get used to that. Okay. I formation for the Hurricane, and not much there. Picks up a yard at best. So we're going to be looking at 3rd and 10. And, they didn't score here, guys, but if they're able to stop this, and assuming there's not a 70-yard punt, they should get good field position.
Yeah, they should. And you're right. This is a situation where, really, I think Louisburg's quick, rapid offense almost works against them here.
Right.
They're going to turn the ball right back over here. I mean, 30 seconds later, it's already 3rd down.
So they are in a trying a little
nothing doing.
trickeration there.
Try to run up the
Nobody
middle.
was fooled.
Now,
Well, I'll tell you, big number 75, Zach Page, you run into him, you're not going to go anywhere, and they sure didn't.
right. So that was a power pistol formation, which Lloyd gave the ball off and then faked a pass, but it went nowhere. So the Hawks do their job on defense and have an opportunity, Coach, to get in a position here where they can get those points that they missed on that last drive.
Punter's back
that's
in the end zone.
They managed to flip the field here. Let's see if they can keep it that way.
And there's the punt, by Benjamin. Benjamin gets the ball out to the 40-yard line, takes a roll to 45, up to the 50, and rolls
Nice roll.
the Hawk territory down to about the 44-yard line.
Took the words out of my mouth, Rick. I'll tell you, without that roll, that was not a very good kick.
Yeah, if they could have if they got the backwards roll on that one, that would have been very prime opportunity for the Hawks to get great field position.
Really a situation where probably it should have been fair caught.
Yeah. And we would do that. I mean, years ago, I had a team where we would give up field position because we weren't catching it. So we went out and got a jugs machine and just had the kids fair catch the ball. And I can't tell you how many yards that we gained just on the fact that we didn't let it roll.
Yeah, those are those hidden yards that you hear about so often. You know that it may not show up in the stat sheet,
but it shows up during the game.
Shows up on the scoreboard. That's
sure
right.
It does. Okay, Williams in motion, a little bounce motion, and give to Wilson again. And Wilson picks up where he left off as he squirts out from the 44 to the 49-yard line.
Coach, we've seen that play run several times here, and the play action off at once. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the play action off that same bounce motion again here.
Right.
Number 81 coming up limping.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
That is Kayvon Gardner. Yeah, he is the tight end now. He's the backup tight end now. 2 receivers to the right, pistol formation. 1 receiver to the left. Clark gets the ball. Quick drop. He looks. He gets out of the pocket. He's over the 50-yard line. He's able to get it up to about the 46 before he's driven out of bounds.
Yeah, nice move by Clark there to bring up the ball and freeze the defender just long enough for him to get free.
And it puts him in a good situation, Chuck. 3rd and 1. So
3rd and short here. A lot of options here.
Yep. I would say at this point of the game, it's definitely 4-down territory here. So
One more play before the end of the third quarter, it looks like.
Yeah. With 40 seconds to go in the third quarter, Hawks rally up to the line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol with motion by Williams. Oh, and offsides again, I think.
I think they were
I
drawn.
think they drew him off.
I think the right guard, number 53.
And don't tell me
that's
53.
Dylan Farley, I believe, Coach.
Yeah.
And I guess not. I guess
No.
they moved off of Farley. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I was going to say, I think Farley was the player that jumped on the goal line down there.
Oh, was he?
So that's a first down.
The easy way.
The easy way.
Might get one more playoff here.
Okay. So
I don't
3
know.
receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol formation. Mikhail Clark takes quick drop, gets the ball out to Amin Gilbert. And Gilbert's able to get the ball up for about 3 or 4 yard gain.
Brought down on the play. By D'Angelo.
And that is the end of the third quarter. So 31-14 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricanes and the Hocking Hawks 14.
And, of course, you're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports, and WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio. We're just having a great time here.
On the za.
Yeah, the Za. Yeah.
The Waza. Waza.
Be careful. I think that might be copyrighted.
It could be. So,
Just don't put a P on the end of that, right?
yeah. Waza. I just got to carry that A out a little bit longer. So, a few of the players jumping around down there, guys. It is progressively got colder as this game has went on.
Well, they were playing jump around in the stadium.
And that's true. I was going to say
yeah.
that might have had something to do with it. It looks like he's wearing, what is that on the back of his uniform there? He almost like a WWE belt or something. He's got.
Oh, the Douglas. He's got the Douglas pad hanging out there.
Oh, okay.
And then
I missed that. I don't see that.
number 3 down there.
35.
Oh, I was looking at number 3. He's
No,
got
number
the-
35. He's got some kind of shiny.
Oh, yeah, I think that is a shoulder pad, but you're right. It is very metallic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to zoom in on that so the people at home don't think we're crazy.
Yeah, I better do that.
Okay, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Clark moves Wilson to his left. Shotgun formation. And there's the snap. Clark takes a quick drop. He goes to the middle to Williams. Williams got the ball at the 5, and he goes in.
Oh, that was nice.
What a sweet play.
A nice little quick pass by Mikhail Clark to K-Ron Williams. And now it's 31-20.
Yeah, what a way to start the fourth quarter here. They lulled us to sleep, and they throw it down the field.
Yeah. And Williams did a nice job on the setup on that move as he broke to the middle. He was wide open. And
I'll tell you, K-Ron Williams really showed his athleticism there, too, keeping his balance.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
He did
did.
it in the end zone.
Just trying to find that belt.
So the extra point is good, and that makes it 31-21. Still in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricanes, but things have got interesting here now, Chuck.
Yes, they have. They're trying to make a ball game out of this for sure.
And the Hocking defense is definitely ruled here in the second half, is that we've seen very little life out of the Hurricanes offense.
Wide receiver K-Ron Williams.
K-Ron Williams. Oh, there it is. Hey, I'm gonna the back plate there. Is,
Right. Let's zoom in.
Right there in the huddle
Hey,
there.
I wonder if it's a WWE belt. Or
Well, that's what I was saying.
You know, you get a championship
It
belt.
says-
I'm going to go on a limb and say it's not.
Rydell.
Yeah.
So it's something from
I
Rydell, just
think
like the
it's
little,
a pad.
like the little man bags that the other guys have.
It might be something just cover lower down onto the
I don't
lower
know.
back.
See, I guess I've been out of coaching long enough. I
In
haven't
high
seen
school,
metallic pads.
I was going to say in high school they'd make you tuck that in.
Oh, without a doubt.
That
Yeah.
might be a little cold
Well,
too.
there's a couple of them that would get flagged in high school. Well, they would just be taken out of the game.
All right, so now we've had our exciting interest story.
Yes.
We've got everything today.
That's right.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of it all here. So
That's what you get when you come to Nelsonville.
that's right. Beautiful Nelsonville, Ohio, just north of Athens.
The leaves are changing here.
No, not yet. But they will after today.
A little bit.
Oh, nice.
There's a squid. We
A
look
worm
for it all
burner
day.
there, and Alexander's able to get the ball to the 40, the 45. He's up to the 50, across the 50 to the 45, 40, down to the 35-yard line, and that's where he goes out of bounds.
He is a nifty runner, Coach. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah. He
Just all kinds of shake out there.
yeah, and we saw him on that one touchdown run that got called back, that 66-yarder, and he is a talent, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
He's got nice size, got nice speed. That's deadly combination for a running back because it's a lot of things you can do with him. You can run him inside, run him outside.
Again, it's like we talked about. Coach Highfield and his stable of running backs. He's got them.
Yes, he does.
Quite a collection.
Dontavius Harris. Harris with a short gain, a couple yards.
Yeah, so again, the Hurricane trying to come out here and answer back,
And the box was all kind of screwed up there as they had fourth down, but it's actually 2nd and 6.
And it says 2nd and 7.
Two receivers, and they gave it to Harris and tripped up by number
just kind of chopped down
Was
as it
that
came
number
through.
10
It looked like
for-
it was number 10.
Vixata.
Yep, Exada again chopped him down there.
Okay, so 3rd and 7, and this is a big play here for the Hawks. Okay, backfield empty, a little play action jet fake, and oh no!
Guess who?
Elijah Rice.
Yeah.
Number 4 with a 30-yard pitch and catch.
And really nothing fancy there, just Elijah Rice to the post.
Rice to the post and a touchdown. And, they slide Rice in. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of carries, but he is explosive when he gets in there.
Yeah, it's like we talked about earlier. They just find different ways to get him involved.
Benjamin with the extra point. 38-21.
So give the Louisburg Hurricanes some credit. They come out and answer that touchdown
Right.
quickly.
And they had been dormant for a better part of, almost 2 quarters there.
Yeah, they really have. But, it's like we talked about. That's kind of been their MO all year.
Yes.
They score so fast, they're not on the field very much.
Right.
But when they get it, they're able to take care of business and throw their defense back out there.
And here's where Hocking's going to have to now pick up the pace of the offense.
Well, that's exactly right. Like we talked about before, they cannot be lackadaisical at the line. They've got to get up there, get set, get the play called, and run it.
Now the fighting Quakers are fighting back. It's 24-14 Heidelberg now
All right.
in
All
the
right.
fourth quarter.
How about those Quakers?
So the Quakers are, and next week Quakers have the Muskies, and I agree with Rick. In my preseason prediction, I had them beating the Muskies as one of the teams. I actually picked them to finish 4-6. I had them beating the Pioneers of Marietta, but Marietta is
I gave them 3.
Marietta's having a nice year this year.
Well, I have to tell you guys, in my own personal history, the first Wilmington College game I ever went to was against Marietta, and the Quakers won. So let's hope for that again next week.
Yes. So there is the return by it's Devontae Shoemate, and Shoemate is up to the 28-yard line.
Yep, number 50. It's Montrell Webb on the tackle for the Hurricanes.
So 13:33 to go. Fourth quarter, 38-21 in favor of Louisburg College Hurricanes over the Hocking College Hawks. And guys, if they the 17-point difference is, people don't understand between 17 and 10 points. That is a huge difference going into 1 quarter of play.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where
Actually, it seems like it's warmed up or everything on
Certainly
my body
not
now has
insurmountable.
frozen.
I think that's probably it more likely, right?
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, back offset to the left of Clark. And a little play action.
Oh,
Wow.
what a hit.
Wow, he just got led right into number 7, Montreal.
Yeah, I
Reeves.
would look back at my quarterback and say, hey.
Yeah.
Williams held on to it. Nice
Yeah, he did,
job
but
by
boy,
Williams.
Clark did not do him any favors on that one.
He did not. He did not do him any favors. He'll go back and say, hey, man, get the ball to me a little.
I'll say this to Reeves' credit, though. He probably could have dropped a hammer and
he probably
hit him with the shoulder. Did the right thing there. And given today's
Wilson
climate,
with the ball gets to the outside, 35. Over. Oh! He does the Ezekiel Elliott over the top of one of the Hurricane players, getting out to about the 41-yard line.
I'll tell you, dangerous. He just about got launched there.
Yeah.
He did
get undercut a little bit. But
A little bit.
it could have been worse, is what I'm saying.
He did get launched.
Yeah, could have been worse. That's my point.
First and 10 from the 41-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Wilson in the backfield, pistol formation behind Clark. And they go back to him again, and he bounces it out. And,
Staying on his.
Wow, nice effort by Wilson as he's able to keep his feet and just gets out for a couple yards.
Wilson just ran the whole gamut. Last play, he's up in the air.
Wow, now look at this mark.
Now he's all crawling
look at
off
this
the ground.
mark.
Yeah, that's a bad spot.
I mean, he was out to almost the 43-yard line.
That's not a very good spot.
Wow.
I think that's where he put his hand down.
That's
not where he put his knee down.
No,
Right.
I think Coach Matthews should throw a clipboard at that official.
Well, he's had plenty of opportunities to do that today, Coach.
2 receivers to the left, pistol formation.
A lot of flags today.
2nd and 10. Clark takes a short drop, and he finds the middle. Oh, that should be a flag.
No doubt about it.
There's
Number
your
11,
flag.
Ronnie
Amin
Monroe.
Gilbert
We got 3 flags
Knew
down.
he was beat.
Amin Gilbert had beat the corner, and the corner just grabbed him.
No doubt. Amin had him, and Amin had 6 points there.
Yes, we had 6 points on that one.
Gilbert, Monroe really had no choice but to grab him at that point.
Yeah, he did.
Better to give up 15 than give up 6 there.
Exactly right. So easy decision for the Hawks is they'll take the 15-yard penalty and move deep into the Hurricane territory at the 43-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Wilson sets to the left of Clark. Clark gets ready for the snap and gives it to Wilson. Wilson is off the right side. He's up to the 36-yard line.
Tried to pull it out.
I'll tell you, Wilson got to the second level in a hurry right there.
Yeah, he did.
T.J. Ford Henley with the stop there at the second level, but
You got to like the way Wilson sticks his foot in the ground and gets north and south very quickly.
you're exactly right. He takes it so wide, but when he finds that crease,
He's
boom,
up.
you're right. He puts that foot down and goes.
Yeah. So nice job by Wilson. In the absence of David Moore, their leading rusher with 264 yards this year, Wilson has been more than adequate.
Yeah, he's had a nice ball game today.
Pistol formation, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Clark gets the ball, takes a 3-step drop. He looks, he rolls out and throws the ball unadvisedly into double coverage.
Yeah, double coverage again.
Yeah. He is looking for K-Ron Williams, who was the recipient of his last touchdown pass.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he did a nice job to get in position to throw the ball. He just shouldn't have thrown that ball.
Exactly.
I think I would have rather seen, when he got outside the pocket, he had Green Acres
Could
there.
have tucked it and ran it.
Yeah, he could have safely got 5-6 yards and
Well, I think, the pressure of being down.
17 points.
Right. He's thinking we've got to score. And
Right. 10:35 to go in the fourth quarter. 38-21 in favor of Louisburg.
Yeah.
And the Hawks are
Great effort
driving
there.
again.
But can't turn it over.
3rd and 4 here for the Hawks. Of course, this is 4-down territory now in this point of the game. Wilson comes in bounce motion.
There's a
Play action
off
fake
of it,
and a
screen.
little screen. And, knocked down.
Yeah.
I think it was about number 94 for Robert Andrews. And we've heard that name quite a few times.
Yes, we have. Big Robert Andrews, 6'3", 240-pound freshman.
You got to say Andrews will be in the running for player of the game here, guys. He's made some plays, but then Alexander and Rice, and there's a bevy of guys on the Louisburg side. Okay, they emptied the backfield. Hawks have 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Clark all by himself.
Looks like they're bringing the pressure, but
Yeah.
guys in both A gaps.
Yeah,
Ears are back.
and they could be looking for, and they do bring the pressure, and he has nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I'll
There-
tell you, really a smart blitz package by Louisburg.
Yeah,
Coming
yeah.
up the A gaps, not going to let him get that draw
Right.
against them. And,
Right.
he tried to go outside, the only place he had any shot at all, and couldn't make anything happen out there either. So
Yeah.
going to bring over a turnover on down. So just over 10 minutes to go. Hurricane ball from their own 36.
I wasn't really sure there, Chuck, too, as that almost looked like it was a fumble. So, thank goodness it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if they'd have called it that way in the field, you probably could not make
Dispute
an
it.
argument against it.
Right. So you have a 2-by-2 formation, and you've got Harris in motion, and Lloyd goes deep. Ooh, almost a nice one-handed
Yeah,
catch.
nice attempt at the one-arm grab by Jariq Moore, but just not quite there.
Yeah, Jariq Moore who just almost made a circus catch on the sideline. Would have been Devin Smith worthy
Yes, it would have been.
for all those who remember the Buckeye receiver who was famous for making the one-handed catches. Pistol formation, and they give the ball. It looks like Alexander again. Alexander rips through for about 7 yards.
Marcus Alexander on the carry.
Yeah, another tough carry by Alexander.
Alexander's a good-looking kid here.
Ball now spotted at the Louisburg 43-yard line. 3rd and 3. Hurricane.
Make sure we get his name out over to Coach Moore there at
Yes.
over at Wilmington.
And have him look at the game.
Yeah, he would be a nice little addition for the Quakers.
So he'd be a nice addition anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
and again, it's Alexander, but not much this time as he gets about a yard.
Yeah, just not much there that time.
Yeah, so it's going to bring up a 4th down. I would suspect here that
They'll go for it.
I thought, but they're not. They're going to punt. So Louisburg is going to punt. And like Chuck was saying, the one thing that's maybe to their disadvantage if this was a closer game is the fact that, they don't run any time off the clock.
Right. And I think that plays in their factor here to punt it. That they
Right.
want to give a long field as
and
they
it's
can, but that's not a very good kick.
Benjamin gets a kick of, looks like,
Penalty. Oh, no, that's
Maybe about
kicked it out.
Afterwards.
Looks
No,
like
not for
Was there a
that, but
penalty?
I saw,
Not on the punt. There is a flag.
looks
It's
like
not
about a
for the-
13-yard kick.
Yeah. Plus whatever the penalty is here.
So Benjamin drives the ball out at the 45-yard line of the Hawks, but not so quick, my friend. Let's see what they call.
And it looks like it's on. I believe they're asking Coach Matthews what he wants here. So
Must be on Louisburg then.
So, yeah. So if it's on Louisburg, I guess the question would be if it's before the
I think it would
was
have to be
after.
after the kick.
after
So,
the kick, right?
Yeah. Sideline warning.
There we go. So,
Okay.
But
No
they said that
action
was
at all.
against the Hawks.
Yeah. Yeah.
so I guess that's why they were talking to Coach Matthews.
Right.
Yes.
Telling him, get your guys back.
3-yard line. 1st down, Hawks.
Okay, so we're back to action here. We've got 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the 43-yard line. They are moving left to right on your radio dial if you're on WZAA. And give to Wilson. Wilson's up to 45, out to the 49.
Davon Wilson on the carry
Yeah, nice little run forced out by TJ Ford Henley.
for Louisburg.
And a nice, nifty 7-yard run. So he's going to bring up 2nd and 3. And of course, time is getting short here for the Hawks with 8:38 to go
Ball now spotted
in the quarter and in the game. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
Yeah, a little more urgency here out of the
Yes.
Hawks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pistol formation. Clark drops.
What was that?
Quick pass.
Yeah, tipped.
out.
Had to be tipped.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going
had
to
to
say
be.
that definitely.
And that was K. Ron Williams they were looking for on the inside. And K. Ron's been the receiver of choice here, Chuck, in the second half.
Yes, he has. Yeah, and I don't know what happened, Coach, but I don't know that we've seen very much of Kevin Greenhow in the second half.
I have not seen Kevin in there
I
very
don't know
much.
if he's been hurt.
All right, there's
or,
Kevin right there on the sideline.
on the sideline.
Number
yeah.
9. He's talking to the trainer. So.
Yeah, but doesn't have his helmet on or anything. Doesn't look like he's ready to go in.
No.
Maybe one leg wrapped up there. Maybe a.
And you
Don't
know,
want to speculate, but
okay. So back offset to the right of Clark. Clark rolls and
yeah, he never saw him.
No.
and number
Ball's
29.
Yeah, Quinn Maynor coming on the blitz around the edge there, and
Maynor came off that edge, and he was coming with cause.
yes, he was, and come around that left side or the blind side, as they say, and that's exactly why they call it that.
The blind side hit. Okay, 7:50 to go, fourth quarter, 38-21 in favor of Lewisburg. And
4th and 7 Hawks from their
so
own
4th and 7.
I would imagine they will go for it.
I guess you got to go. I mean, you're down
Yeah,
to
yeah, I think they
17.
will.
I mean, if you're
Although
not,
I'll tell you, Lewisburg puts you in that position where really you may not have to because there's a pretty good chance you're going to get the ball back.
right, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. So Clark gets ready, and needs to pick up 7 yards on this one. And it's a little,
Right up the seam, and
yeah, I think it's K-Ron again.
I think you're right. Yep, fake the bubble and throw the seam.
Had a hand on it.
Yeah, it was there. He was open.
So they faked the bubble, and K-Ron Williams was wide open again.
pass intended for Williams falls incomplete.
That was a good shot, guys. I mean, that's what you had to do with,
I agree. Yeah, you got to take your shot there.
right, 7 minutes to go in the game, and you want to get back into it. You needed to make, catch lightning in the bottle on that one.
So let's see if Lewisburg changes their MO here, but I bet they don't.
No.
I don't think they will. Teams that run this usually don't get out of it.
Been
That's
working
right.
No
for you
matter
all
what.
day.
That's right,
Yeah.
all year.
And I think that might be. Oh, that's
Clark.
Nedrick Clark, and Clark squirts through for about an 11-yard gain.
37-14, Heidelberg over
Oh,
Wilmington
actually,
College.
7-yard gain. What's that?
37-14 is the score now.
37-14 in favor of
Heidelberg.
Heidelberg over Wilmington.
2nd and 3.
For those keeping score at home of the OAC. Okay, 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Pistol formation.
And I will say, I think if you notice, Lewisburg has kind of slowed down.
They have. They're eating a little time off the clock, and they give the ball to Clark again, and Clark shows good power
Yeah, that was a nice
for
play.
a small back, getting down to the 35-yard line, picks up a first down for the Hurricanes.
Exactly what they needed.
Keep the ball moving.
Yeah, a couple more first downs, and that will be it. Now, I'm just going to say that the play clock is not working.
It's certainly not running right now, is it?
No, it isn't.
Well, if you notice,
They give the ball to Clark, and Clark, another pickup of 3 or 4 yards, and this is what we saw them warming up with, Chuck. It was just the very first phase of the option, and they're giving the dive play to the tailback, and
man, you got to figure really, Coach, at this point, that's really all they need to do.
right.
You want to work the clock, keep running that dive.
Yep.
Don't want to run anything outside that might get bounced out of bounds, anything like that.
This is where if you're hawking, you've got to stay focused on it and not let them slice through there. And
Well, you're right, because the potential is always there to fake the give.
exactly.
And then we've got the man deep in pitch phase.
You have the
so-
Clark. Clark bounces to the right and up to the 30-yard line. Short pickup of 1 or 2. 3rd and 5. And, of course, needless to say, this is 4-down territory here, so. Just chipping the clock away here, Chuck.
Yep, just taking their time.
Of course, for football fans, this isn't the most exciting part of it, but they will wait right until the end. And Lloyd gets it. He keeps it on the read option and is able to get out that side. He's to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Oh, and he dives.
Just forced out at the 2 or 3.
Dives and just comes up short at the 3-yard line. It was a night. They saw Clark. They saw Clark. Fake to Clark and keep, and Lloyd was able to get the ball down to the 3.
Well, and a pretty smart guy I know just said something about staying disciplined there, and you were exactly right. As soon as they lost their discipline, they give up the first down, almost a touchdown.
That was reminiscent of the old belly play that we used to run when I was in high school. It was fake the dive and give it to the second back, and it was a very effective play. Just a new version of it here in the 2000s.
Everything old is new again, right?
Yeah, and especially in football.
I hope it's never going to be double knit suits.
Polyester. And
well, within
number
reason,
48.
Yeah, big number 48 again. That's our man Jacoby Emery. Big 250-pound H-back.
Shake, rattles, and rolls in there for a touchdown. Pushing the score out to 44-21.
Yeah, nice. You want to reward that big H-back every now and then with a nice run. He's been out there grading the road all day.
Absolutely.
Let him get a little touchdown.
And the kick by Benjamin. It's good.
And we've got another flag, guys.
Could add roughing the kicker or holder on that one. Let's see.
It's going to stand.
Yeah,
so that penalty will probably get.
Oh, no, it was on Hocking or on Louisburg.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed the indication.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah.
Both teams.
So that means they'll be kicking off from the 20.
Yeah, this might help with field position a little bit for the Hawks.
Yeah, that'll be the second time they kicked off from the 20.
Yeah.
There's something going on down there when they get.
We've seen it all today, guys.
Yeah. Must be the punter that's doing this.
It must be. Something is not going well here. But so it was a nice crowd here at the Boston field for the Hocking Hawks. And, of course, we'll be back here in a couple of weeks for their game against Asa College, which will be their season finale.
Well, hopefully it'll be warmer.
Hopefully it'll be warmer, although November 11th, I don't know.
I'm not going to bet on it.
It'll be darker.
It'll be
that.
It'll be darker.
We'll get to see the lights here at Boston Field.
That's right. So, and, of course, next week we will be at Wilmington as the Quakers close out their first season under new coach Brian Moore. Close out their home season, I should say, not their regular season.
Muskingum.
And the Muskies come swimming into town.
That'd be a sight to see, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
He
must expect some rain.
They're coming down the Lees Creek. We're going to swim down into Wilmington.
See all those salmon right down Romback Avenue? Be quite a sight.
Yes, indeedy. The Muskies. So, Devontae Shoemate and Javon Wilson, who's been a busy man.
Yes, he has. He's gotten his work today. He'll sleep well tonight.
Yes, he will. Oh, no, that is...
that's 3, isn't it? That is Andre Chandler back there.
Andre Chandler. I guess they decided Wilson's been running the rock so much.
He's done enough.
Yeah, we'll get him off of that. Okay, Devontae Shoemate to the 30, 35, stops, cuts back, gets up to the 40, over the 40, out to the 43-yard line, and a scrum of people go flying all over everyone.
Yeah, we might have a Louisburg player injured.
Yeah, it's like he was a little.
He took an awkward hit on him. You saw it there at the end. But
in this kind of weather, too, when you get kicked in the calf or something in a game like this.
A little bit of sting, huh?
Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
A little bit of sting.
Stiffness there. Yeah. So 3:32 to go, fourth quarter, 45-21 in favor of Lewisburg. Mikhail Clark comes out in the pistol bone. Receiver split right and left.
Now, for Lewisburg, these last drives are going to be pretty important. They need to
Mikhail
protect their ranking and
takes
everything
his
else.
Drop, and he's got, Amin Gilbert was,
Yeah, single coverage out there.
yeah, and they were giving him some room too, Chuck.
Yeah, Ronnie Monroe for Louisburg is giving him a cushion there.
Ronnie Monroe's had a nice game for.
Yes, he has. But I'll tell you what, he's got to be careful there because, he's giving him, what would you say, 5 or 6 inches there to Amin Gilbert?
Yes.
Yeah, he's taller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gilbert's a pretty tall receiver.
Of course, you get a 24-point lead. They're probably thinking, oh, we'll let them catch it in front of us. And
Well, that's right. Anything in front of you, nothing behind you.
yeah. Yeah, they got a double A-gap blitz coming, or they're going to back off here, Chuck. No, they
And
back
they do.
out.
They back out. Yeah.
Okay, Mikhail Clark. He's got the middle of the field again.
Yeah.
Got him.
Guess who?
And number 11.
Amin Gilbert.
Amin Gilbert.
Complete to Anthony Caldwell. Stopped on the play.
So the Hawks are down to the 20-yard line. They're knocking on the door again with 3:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
From the Louisburg 19-yard line, first down, Hawks.
Oh, A.J. Caldwell.
Yeah, I hope we haven't been calling the wrong name all day, but looking, that may be A.J. Caldwell, number 11. If that's the
And-
case, we apologize to
we
you
do.
and Mr. Gilbert.
And Mikhail Clark. Oh,
Yeah, just protection just broke down there, and
yeah. And I think they.
Looks hurt.
So now, the question is it going to be grounding or is it going to be spiking the quarterback?
yeah, I think he was outside the pocket, so I'm not sure that'll be grounding or not, but
Spiking the quarterback?
it could very well be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Milton Mosley, and I think Derek Burney in there on the.
It's going to go against the
sack.
Hawks.
Yeah, it is going to be intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding to call against the Hawks.
So that's a loss of down for the Hawks, and going to back them up.
Yep.
Going to do an ID here.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
That's us.
Yeah, Rick, that one's not nearly as exciting. You're right.
Yeah. But that was the legal ID. The other one was just a fun ID.
So you're saying that other one isn't entirely legal, huh?
Right.
Somehow I believe that.
Pistol bound for the Hawks. Receiver split right and left. Clark takes the snap. It's under pressure again. He rolls to his right. And there are Hurricanes
Swarmed.
coming in from every angle there.
Yeah, storm warning there. Got big number 99, Reggie Jones, leading the way.
And number 29 was chasing him down from behind, too.
Yeah, there just wasn't any chance of getting free there.
And, we said at the beginning, Chuck, we were impressed by the overall athleticism of the front four there for Louisburg. And
they haven't disappointed all day.
no, they have been up to the task. So the Hawks will be dropping to 3-5 after this game, and the Hurricanes will move to 7-0, and possibly looking at a bowl bid.
Yeah, that's right. Again, like we talked about, 17th in the nation,
Yep.
and
3 receivers to the left, a little quick screen, and if it's Gilbert or Caldwell,
Nice
we'll
move,
find out.
nice
He's going to
move.
take
whoever
it
he is,
all
he
the way
just
to
made
the
a
house.
Great run! Wow,
That was nice.
that was beautiful, wasn't it?
So that was a 44-yard play.
Yeah, nice job cutting it back against the grain there.
Yeah.
By the Hawks, number 11, Anthony A.J. Caldwell.
So it is A.J. Caldwell. So, A.J., we
I
apologize.
AJ.
We had you down as Amin Gilbert. And so this whole game, when we've been calling you that, we will offer up our apologies for that.
And now they probably got to figure out who Amin Gilbert is.
Yeah, exactly. So here is the kick, and it's good.
The extra point attempt
Okay.
is good.
So Dominic Farmer with the kick,
Yeah, I'll tell you, Coach,
45-28.
after what appears to have been losing Greenhow there, A.J. Caldwell stepped up big time for this Hawks offense.
Well, let me pose this question to you, Chuck. The game plan, obviously, on the defensive side for Louisburg was to take away Greenhow, which they did pretty effectively for the most part. And when Greenhow came out of the game, when you had a game plan that was predicated around one player, it almost seemed like the Hawks had an easier time moving the football when Greenhow was out.
Yeah, that there might be something to that, Bill. Because you're right. I think it's definitely true that they were predicated in the first half on taking away Greenhow. And I think he had, threw for one touchdown and caught one?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you had a few more targets that he just didn't get a chance to catch. So,
Right.
there may be something to that. You're right.
And, sometimes that lets one of your other players step up and shine. And, and
Coach, we think we have an onside coming here.
I think.
6 guys here to the bottom of the screen, the field.
Yep. And I would say it's probably about 100%.
Oh,
nice.
That was nice. Got the
gets
right
it.
bounce.
Oh.
I think they got it. Maybe not. They certainly had a fair shot at it.
Yeah, I think. Well, it was a.
The first guy missed it, and that's
Yeah,
exactly all you can ask for, right?
That's right.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
It was a good onside kick.
Yes, it was.
So 45-28 in favor of the Louisburg College Hurricanes over the Hocking Hawks.
As they travel to Philippi, West Virginia to take on Alderson Broadus in a 1 o'clock matchup. That's next Sunday, November the 5th.
So the Hawks are off to West Virginia, take on
On November 11th,
Alderson Broadus.
And we won't be covering any teams as far as at the high school level in any kind of playoff. So from here on out, it's
All college.
games of the week.
Yep. Our last 2 games, 3 games of the week. Going into, and it's Alexander's off the right side. He's to the 50. DeMarcus Alexander has been an impressive runner.
Yes, he has. No doubt about it. It's Jones just hanging on there at the end to bring him down.
Yeah. And we are nearly under 1 minute in the game. As the clock rolls down there, we may only see maybe one more snap.
Yeah, I don't think the referees are any more interested in getting this ball spotted quickly than anybody else
No.
is. So.
2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Alexander with the ball, and he powers through. And Alexander still wants the end zone there.
Yeah, carried about 3 Hawks with him there.
As he gets up just short of the first down marker. So 3rd down, I think that's probably the last play of the game.
They still haven't signaled the ball ready for play, have they?
Yeah. Well,
So congratulations to Coach Highfield and his Hurricanes as they complete an undefeated season, and I'll wait to see if they get a bid to a bowl game.
And again, today I don't think was one of their typical type victories from what we've seen, but give them a lot of credit. They fought through some adversity today and definitely looked like a very strong football program.
I think they had to work a little harder. This was not. We saw.
oh no!
Coach just got the Gatorade back.
No.
Coach Highfield just got something he didn't want on a cold day.
Not
You
on
don't
a
want
day
that
like
today,
that.
that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
28. Once again, folks, the Hawks return home
So, guys,
November 11th for their final regular season home game.
it was,
as they take on Asa College. We hope to
It was a
see you
high-scoring
there.
game. I guess we
Thanks for coming, everyone.
kind of thought that could happen,
Right. Yeah.
and the Hawks were a little bit banged up because the voice is going here, guys.
Getting all choked up on us, Bill.
Yeah.
It's an emotional day, Bill. It's an emotional day.
Choke me up every time.
Yeah. It's at least it's warming.
Yes. So here we go. Oh, Chuck, would you like to?
Want to run down the
yeah,
final
I'm gonna let
stats here?
I'm gonna let
Good.
Chuck do that. So I don't,
Bill's having a
I'm having a moment here.
conniption here.
All right. So again, the Hawks actually have more yards today, 511 total offensive yards versus 348 for Louisburg. Passing, Hocking finished with 307 yards. Louisburg with 152. Hocking 4 touchdown passes today versus 1 interception. Louisburg 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rushing, the Hawks 204 yards on the ground on 45 carries. And the Hurricane 196 on 43. And receiving, the Hawks again leading that category, 307 yards, 152. A lot of penalties today, guys. 22 total penalties for over 200 yards.
Wow, that is a lot.
I believe
Hate
that.
to see that. Not a great day punting the ball for either team. 2 for 30 for the Hurricane, 1 for 27 for the Hawks. So again,
a forgettable kicking day.
certainly was. So our leading rushers for Louisburg, Clark ended with 53 yards. Alexander, 44 yards. Harris, 35 yards. Caleb Lloyd, 32 yards. Elijah Rice, 29 yards rushing, and we talked about that came on that one carry, that one touchdown. And, of course, the big H-back we talked about, Jacoby Emery, 1 carry for a 3-yard touchdown. As far as leading receivers for Louisburg, again, Rice, leading receiver today, 2 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Bruce Knox, 2 for 56.
The Knox.
That's right. And
Doesn't take the hard knocks.
for the Hawks today, leading rusher was Javon Wilson. Obviously, he had 19 for 96 yards. Mikhail Clark finished with 19 carries for 77 yards. Shoemate, 2 carries on those 2 punts, fake punts for 30 yards.
Nice average there.
That was. Antoine Allen had 2 carries. David Moore had 2 carries. Receiving, Kayron Williams, like we talked about, leading receiver today, 104 yards. Led all receivers. A.J. Caldwell, 92 yards. Both had touchdowns. Kayvon Gardner, 43 yards on 3 catches and a touchdown. Again, Greenhow, only with 1 reception, was for a 33-yard touchdown. But, again, only 1. And, well, here we go, Coach. They've got Amin Gilbert listed as number 11 on here. So, Amin or A.J., we don't know which one it is, but they've got you down for 1 catch for 29 yards.
Yeah, well.
Obviously, that's not right because we know you had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Here we go. They've got 2 11s listed, Coach. I already read Caldwell, 4 for 92,
and Amin
Gilbert, 1 for 29. So apparently they have 2 11s.
Which makes it more confusing for
that's
guys
right.
like us.
Why don't they just say 22?
Yeah,
Huh?
That's right. So anyway, as far as defensive leaders, Coach, help me with that name again. For Hocking, it was
Vanden Vixata.
Vixata. Again, I don't want to mispronounce your name there, Vanden. Had finished with 6 tackles, 6 solos, 2 for a loss and 1 sack. Shoemate had 3 tackles and a pick for the Hawks. Leading tacklers for the Louisburg, 32. Linebacker Robert Brown had 3 tackles, all solos, 1 for a loss. Cornerback Cole Nigro had 3 tackles, 3 solos. So again, out there in coverage. And big man inside 94, Robert Andrews, finished with 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. 58, Keeman Bell also had a sack for Louisburg. So again, the stats that really matter, we're looking at today's final.
So, Chuck,
Louisburg 45, Hocking 28.
so who is going to be the player of the game here for Louisburg? I guess, looking at it, almost, the backs were all impressive, but yet they split it up so much that it's hard to go with one over the other because you got 53, 44, and 35.
Coach, my vote goes to Elijah Rice.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Elijah Rice.
I think he had a great ball game, and I think that they showed his versatility a lot of different ways, got him the ball different ways. Again, I agree with you. All those backs had great games. But to have to pick out one individual performer, I'd have to give it to Rice.
I think Rice, just from an explosive standpoint, he changes the game. Even just if he's not receiving the ball, you game plan around him very much.
Well, and I think we saw that a lot on special teams. We knew that they had designed ways to keep the ball from him.
Right.
And that just shows you right there, what can happen when you do that.
And very much like what Louisburg was trying to do with Greenhow.
Right. Opened everything up. When he got out of the game, it opened up everything on offense.
Right. Yep. So congratulations to Elijah Rice. The 2 receptions, 65 yards, averaged 32 yards a catch and a touchdown. And we did not get a chance to see him return the ball like we had hoped, but we know that obviously they did not want to put the ball in his hands.
Right, and saying that just makes him a factor right there, the fact that they kept it away from him.
Right. And then over on the other side for the Hawks, I guess it's down to Kayron Williams or Javon Wilson. Javon Wilson, 96 yards, 5 yards a pop, and Kayron, 5 catches, 104 yards, and 20.8 yard average for a touchdown. So, what say you, Rick?
I think that I did a good job today.
You know what? I agree with Rick, but I'm still going to go with Javon Wilson. But I'll tell you, I do want to give a shout out. Devin Shoemate, I thought, really made two
He made
big
two
momentum
good,
plays on those fake punts.
Yeah, I agree.
That I think both had a chance to make the momentum really shift in the
That's
game.
right, yeah.
So I want to give him an honorable mention, but my vote's going to go for Javon Wilson, the way he showed up in the second half and really took that offense on his back.
And
Although, you can't take anything away from Mikael Clark either, though. I
No,
thought
that's true.
he played a great game. I just think he made a few decisions in the passing game, throwing into double coverage a couple times when he probably shouldn't have.
Right.
That I don't want to say that cost this team, but it didn't do him any favors either.
Well, the ability to run the ball in the second half made the passing game more effective because they had to honor the run.
No doubt.
So, Javon Wilson, congratulations. You're the Campus Nation Game of the Week, Player of the Week. So
You can wait by your mailbox for your award.
That's right, yeah.
It'll be there sometime
Just
by
keep waiting.
by Christmas.
But congratulations.
So, guys, our next week we're at Wilmington.
Right.
With the Quakers taking on the Muskies
Muskies.
in their final home game. And then on the 11th, we've got a doubleheader where we will be, one crew will be out here doing the Asa College and Hocking game, and another crew will be up in Cleveland doing the John Carroll Mount Union.
So now let's see, which will be warmer?
This is further south.
Yeah, I was going to say this one might be warmer.
Except that the window and the door, it's all open here.
Yeah.
Now up there, will we be in a press box with closed windows?
Now that I don't know.
Surely you're not implying that John Carroll on the lake there would be colder than it would be here.
Yeah, so I think it might be. But so that's how the Game of the Week season will wrap up. Of course, we'll be getting into basketball here in a little bit and
And
announcing
in a climate-controlled atmosphere, huh?
we'll be announcing our basketball Game of the Week schedule here in the near future. So for Chuck Hale and Rick Phillips, I'm Bill Rayback, and good night, everyone.